All right, welcome back. Now, I have to deal with this subject, well, these subjects, because basically there's a race war going on. If it's not going on, it's brewing up. Race relations are not doing too well right now because of some of the things that's been showing up in the news. And I have to deal with it. I have to deal with it before I'm able to move on to other subjects. Now, I'm going to invite the white supremacists to this video. I'm going to share their thoughts with you all so you get it straight from their own mouths. As you can see, you have suspected white supremacist Mark Dice on your screen here, who has 1.91 million subscribers. He uploaded this 3 weeks ago. It's currently at 381,000 views and a little over 12,000 comments. And you see the title of his video, "Everyone is Tired of Them." Now, this is just one out of many race-suspected white supremacist brads on YouTube.
Violent crimes in this country. We're not supposed to say knows. They're only 13% of the.
Now, I have black fatigue in the thumbnail. And some people may not know what this is. Believe it or not, I only recently heard of this term, black fatigue.
Countless millions of Americans are experiencing what's called black fatigue, which the Urban Dictionary defines as the deep mental exhaustion from being forced to care about black people and their actions 24/7. More specific.
Now, that's weird right there off the rip. Why do y'all feel like you're being forced to care about black people? I mean, I sort of don't understand that. What could possibly be happening where you feel forced to care about black people? Hopefully, we get more clarity on that further into the stream.
The crimes of black people, those kinds of actions.
The crimes of black people. Let's be honest here. Do you really deal with black crime? Or are you in your safe white suburb every day? Are you hearing gunshots every night, little white man? Or are you like most of these white people who simply reading statistics and saying, "Oh, I can't deal with this crime"? I don't think you're nowhere in the hood. Are you? Okay, this is my objections to this nonsense. Now listen, right now, white people are projecting themselves as victims. Well, I won't say white people, the white supremacists, the ones who are speaking out, the ones who are talking, this is their complaint. We are actual victims. We're the victims. And I'm all for it. Let's hear the argument. I've already co-signed with several white nationalists or complaints by white nationalists. Them being called racist because they want to live with only white people, I don't think that's wrong. I don't consider white people racist if they want to live around all white people. I don't think that's racist at all. If a white person doesn't want to marry a black person, I don't consider that racist at all. Not even a little bit. Okay, so again, some of the talking points of the white supremacists, white nationalists, I co-sign with. But it looks like in this situation with the Austin Metcalf, Carmelo Anthony situation, and now with this Shiloh situation, y'all have chosen some false equivalence type. Y'all wrong in this situation. This is not a strong argument that y'all trying to push here, but let's continue.
Which everybody knows, they're only 13% of the population. From being forced to care about black people and their actions 24/7. More specifically, the crimes of black people, those kinds of actions, which everybody knows, they're only 13% of the population, but commit over 50% of the violence.
We are not 13% of the population. That's your mistake right there. That's your mistake right there. Now, I'm going to overlook policing, targeting. I'm going to overlook all the white supremacists who are cops. And I'm going to just look at the fact that that was wrong. We are not, no way, in no way, 13% of this country. I don't care what nobody says, but let's continue.
On crimes in this country. You're not supposed to say that out loud because that's considered to be a numeric hate code. That's hate speech because facts are hateful. The rapid increase in black fatigue stems from the tragedy of Austin Metcalf, the 17-year-old high school student who...
Really? Is this the argument? The Austin Metcalf situation?
Was killed at a track meet by this creature because...
He called him a creature. So I got a stone cold white supremacist here. Okay, well, let's back it up.
They got in high school are hateful. The rapid increase in black fatigue stems from the tragedy of Austin Metcalf, the 17-year-old high school student who was killed at a track meet by this creature because they got into a slight disagreement about where this individual was supposed to be in the wrong place. And so he did what thugs do and acted like an animal. White lives...
So he didn't even mention that Austin Metcalf put hands on Carmelo Anthony. He didn't even mention that. As if to say, oh, that's irrelevant, even though that is what it was all about. Carmelo said, don't touch me. Don't put your hands on me. And this is, I think, the sticking point. I don't like how so many white people give this man a pass for putting his hands on another man. I don't like how so many white people think they have the right to put their hands on someone else. That's where you messed up. That's where all of y'all got it twisted. Y'all don't have the right to put your hands on nobody. And this was a football player telling Carmelo to get out the tent. And listen, I don't care if Carmelo was from the opposing team, which he was not. Carmelo found it. It was like soccer or whatever. And I don't care if he went to the opposing team's tent. You don't have no right to put your hands on nobody. Nobody. I get it. He's a football player. And football players, it's a thing for football players to push and shove and punch and fight. But you ain't in no game. The game, y'all not on the football field. Y'all basically at a bus stop on the corner somewhere. And you think you can just physically move someone? What was he going to do? Was he going to pick Carmelo up and toss him, drag him, escort him across the street? You really think you got the authority? You really think you got the right to handle people like that? No, keep your hands to yourself. You got an unruly person? Call the authorities. Call the appropriate people who's supposed to deal with. Call the cops. You call the cops if nothing else. But no, they understand. You have to give that a pass in order to have a complaint. And flat out, listen, if you come up and you put your hands on me, you could have stabbed me in that moment. You could have shot me in that moment. You could have punched me in that moment and knocked me out. You could have killed me in that moment. See, it's all about a display of aggression. It's a display of aggression. Don't matter if you come up and stab me or if you come up and grab me. I'm going to interpret that as a possible unaliving. I could have been unalived in that moment had you simply decided to poke me up rather than grab me. Bottom line is, don't put your hands on me. I don't think y'all understand y'all don't take this seriously. There are people in the world who don't play with other people putting their hands on them, especially if you trying to escort me somewhere. And this was a moment where tensions were already high. They had already been arguing. And yes, that makes a world of a difference. They had already been bickering back and forth. For you to then go up and put your hands on somebody, yeah, you want all the smoke. You want all the smoke. And you found out that some people, especially somebody half your size, from what I understand, Carmelo was like 140 pounds. This other dude was like over 200 pounds. So what do you expect? I'm 6'1", currently around 175 pounds. I know that if I go put my hands on a man who is 5 feet tall and 125 pounds, I know there's a higher chance that he uses a weapon against me. I know that. And that's more motivation for me to keep my hands to myself. Unless it's self-defense, keep your hands. You should never feel like you got the authority or the right to put your hands on another person unless it's self-defense. Or if they're, doing something crazy and foul, they're attacking your family or your property or something like that. No, keep your flipping hands to yourself. This sounds like a situation where this guy felt like he was a bully. He was big. I can do what I want. I'm going to assume the position of a police officer or whatever. And I don't even know if a police officer would have decided to put hands on dude. But no, you don't just put your hands on me. You don't have the right to do that.
This matter was trending on Twitter, on X, earlier this week, which, of course, the Jewish ADL defines as a white supremacist phrase because people are finally getting tired of the black crime problem in America. The Thug's family held a bizarre...
The crime problem? Is that... See, that's a horrible argument. Y'all are not dealing with black crime. The majority of homicides or the victims of black crimes is black people. Don't tell me y'all sitting up in y'all's white suburbs truly worried about crime in the hood. Y'all don't sitting up in y'all's white suburbs heartbroken that Jamal on the corner just got slapped up or shot. Who you kidding? You see this? Number of murder victims in the United States, 2023. The majority are black. Majority are black. So what are you talking about? This is my thing with this complaint that y'all have brought up. White people in general don't deal with the crime that's being committed. Y'all are looking at statistics and then saying, oh, I'm so tired of this crime. Shut up. Shut up. You don't hear this nonsense coming from cities they got far more crime than the cities here in the United States. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't care that blacks have a lower crime rate or homicide rate than the majority of cities across the world. Whatever amount of degeneracy and crime that exists in the black community today needs to be dealt with, because I personally don't like it and think it's embarrassing. The kill a nigga music and the young boys who idolize that lifestyle and look at blacks as other black men as their number one enemies and the targets who they should unalive and all this. I hate that culture with a passion, and my channel right now is riddled with videos speaking against it because I know that the establishment had a hand in the creation of this very culture that y'all complain about so much. But it just so happens y'all never wagged the finger at the entity that created gangster rap. And I say that because gangster rap led to this crime that y'all complain about all the time. but you never point out their hand in it. Created it and policed it. Policed it to ensure that future aspiring rappers, you know what you need to talk about to make it. That's why you see these rappers, some of them are cornballs. Maybe you don't even use profanity. And then they say, okay, well, let me hear your raps. You a rapper? Okay, let's hear it. Suddenly, kill a nigga, sell drugs, all this stuff, a life you don't live, but you know that you need to talk about that stuff. They all know that's what you need to talk about, because if you don't, they're not going to give you no record deal. So y'all policing it. Yeah, but you don't have nothing to say about that. That's why I can't take y'all's complaints seriously. Can't take you seriously. Now, as far as the black criminals who pick up this lifestyle, talk to black women. Talk to the mothers. Talk to the mothers. I don't want to hear it. This is part of what I've been saying. As a black man, and I don't have kids, I'm not accepting responsibility for what single black mothers are creating. Black men have told those black women, y'all better keep your kids away from that stupid music. It's manufactured music. The system created that music. They are responsible for the messages coming out of that music, and it's anti-black. But those mothers did not do that, because those mothers are anti-black male themselves. And they love that kill a nigga music. They love degeneracy. Go talk to them. I don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. I'm not accepting. This is part of what I mentioned, I think, yesterday. I am drawing the line between what black women are responsible for and what black men are responsible for. Yeah, go talk to them.
A press conference yesterday with their new spokesman, this clown who, of course, speaks upon.
And all you young black males, y'all should know better. Y'all should know that your number one enemy is not other black men. Not that these white supremacists care. They don't. They're just looking for something to complain about. That's all this is about. That's all this is about. White nationalists, y'all had an actual good argument. If you're just stick to the arguments that are strong, like you have the right to want to only live around white people. In my opinion, you do. And you should not be called racist for it. You have the right to be allowed to only want to date and marry white people. And you should not be called racist for it. I believe white people have the right to want to go to white-only restaurants and all that. Yes, you do. It's a natural instinct, people. It's a whole nother video, but it's a natural instinct. It's not just humans. All species do that. They go to their own kind. But this ain't it. These arguments are weak. Y'all not dealing with black crime like that. It's black people dealing with black crime. Other black people. These black criminals ain't targeting y'all. Most of them are produced by black mothers who love white people. Are you crazy? These black boys, that's why they ain't bothering y'all. When they want to rob, they going to one of their homies who they know got a few bands. They ain't riding out to the suburbs giving y'all that work. Y'all want them to? Is that what y'all want? When these thugs want to rob and shoot and kill, half shooter, you want them to bring that smoke to y'all's gated communities? Open the gate. Y'all ain't dealing with this stuff, so shut up talking about it. All you're doing is looking for something to complain about, and it sounds goofy. Straight up and down, you come off as goofy.
And Austin Metcalf's father showed up to the press conference not to cause problems, not to heckle the family for raising such a degenerate.
Okay, now this is a stupid video. This is actually a stupid video. Let's deal with a video that did get a lot more traction. This uploaded 3 days ago, currently sitting at 100,000 views, a little over 3,000 comments, over 8,000 likes. Over 8,000 likes. Okay? And if I'm not mistaken, this joker's in the UK.
To end. And we may have just had our white Rosa Parks moment.
He said we may have had our white Rosa Parks moment. See, now you got my attention. Is this what y'all doing out here in these streets, in these race streets, making these types of comparisons? Let's hear it.
So I think it's time for the white guilt industrial complex to end. And we may have just had...
Okay, and this, you see the title? It's time for white guilt to end. This is the current trend. This is part of what I talked about earlier. Currently, there's like a race war going on. And along with black fatigue, that phrase, black fatigue, this is also going around as I speak, that the white guilt is over. This is the end of white guilt. And we'll get deeper into what white guilt is. In fact, they're going to explain it.
Our white Rosa Parks moment. Because we've all known, unless you are very, very old indeed, you spent your entire life living under the white guilt industrial complex. And it sets a series of double standards. It sets up an expectation of one-way violence. It sets up an expectation of, basically you have to bow to the ideology, and you have to apologise if you ever get caught on the wrong side of it. If you ever get filmed, you can expect to be cancelled, doxed, possibly even murdered, or at very least beaten, if you offend the sensibilities of the white guilt industrial complex. And we all knew that it had to end, but it took our Rosa Parks to just stand up and say, no, I'm not going along with this. I simply refuse to accept your terms of engagement.
What? How did y'all get this out of this incident? And that don't even make no sense. And it depends on the scenario. Sometimes they have a point, and sometimes they don't. But this is too vague to even say, oh yeah, you're right. It's far too vague for me to say, okay, oh yeah, you got a point there, bro. Okay, I'm trying here, but no.
Offend the sensibilities of the white guilt industrial complex. And we all knew that it had to end, but it took our Rosa Parks to just stand up and say, no, I'm not going along with this. I simply refuse to accept your terms of engagement. And it came through the, perhaps unlikely example of Shalom, is it? Mrs. Hendricks brought us this. Now, you're probably aware of the incident by now, but let's just take a quick look at it to refresh our memories.
Did you call him the child? Did you call the child the word?
Your fucking business.
It is my own business. You call him Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again?
Fuck you.
Okay. All right, that's what you say.
You don't go digging through people's shit, you dumb fuck.
Nobody digging into your shit.
A little fucking kid just dig, you dumb
That little kid, you call him The little child?
What if he acts like one, he's gonna
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So, perhaps not the, very best of conduct. Maybe it's not the highest way to conduct yourself. But to be fair, she was on the receiving end of an attempted theft. None of us believe that child is 5 years old. I stopped it early, but we do get a glimpse of the child, and he's at least 10, unless he's the tallest 5-year-old.
Now, his assumption that 5-year-old was actually 10, I don't buy that. I haven't seen the boy, but I don't buy that. Because they're always making the assumption that we're a lot older than we actually are. And it's been a historical thing for black kids to be treated like adults. I've shared horrible stories on this channel
that ever lived. And she basically called out bad behaviour that should be quite unacceptable and was filmed doing so. Now, perhaps it would be better if there was a more noble example of an interaction that had gone south.
Okay.
That's not really...
Okay. All your babbling right now, please save that. And let me just say this. If I was a father and somebody's little white kid stole something out of my bag, I would say, maybe at the worst, give me that. Don't take that. Bring that back. That's not yours. At worst, get your little ass over here and give that back. But call a kid a racial slur, to call that child a cracker, that is so far out of my character, I can't put it into words. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. That was an issue of That was just degeneracy. And that was her basically racism coming out. A kid, you gonna refer to a kid doing kid stuff, taking stuff that's not theirs. You gonna say, oh, you're acting like a nigga? Okay, hey, I'm sorry. That's a weak argument. That's a weak argument. He's trying to justify it. All of y'all trying to justify that is crazy. I don't know why you would even try to justify it, even a little bit. And y'all trying a little bit. This guy's trying a little bit.
The point here, better if there was a more noble example of an interaction that had gone south. That's not really the point here. The point is that she was ripe for the cancel culture machine to do what it always does, which is to identify the woman, to dox her, to publish her address, to get her fired from everything, to make her life completely unlivable, probably have her swatted.
Now, I don't co-sign with putting people's address out there at all. At all. That is foul. And especially when it comes to race-related situations like this. Okay? But you have people out there like that. When you do something this immoral, I mean, what do you expect? What do you expect? Even better, how about you not reduce yourself to such evil? How about that? How about you just not call kids racial slurs? That's just one of those things where you might get doxxed and people will spaz out on you. Let's say if you attacked a 5-year-old on camera. Yeah, people might post your address and somebody might come to your address. Typically, when an adult does things to kids, that's one of those things to get you doxxed. So is that what y'all hanging y'all hat on? And how is this? So this makes her a victim? Suddenly she's the innocent party here? This don't even make no sense, man.
I think to make her life completely unlivable, probably have her swatted and have her assaulted and beaten once her home address was given out, and possibly even encourage acts of violence against her young child there.
No. Even though there's some people out there like that. There's some people out there like that who will go to that address. Of course, we all know that. There are a lot of crazy people out there. There's probably even some, there's most definitely even some white people out in the world who would go to that address and do something to that lady. But she's still not a victim. That still don't make her a victim. Y'all trying to paint her as some kind of victim. Based on what could possibly happen to her. And you should have expected her address and for her to be doxxed. Y'all should have expected that. Stop crying the blues. This is your version of pulling a race card and just being pathetic. This is a pathetic argument.
How the script was supposed to go. But she simply refused to play along with what was expected of her in the council.
No. She simply decided to stand on being a sick little racist. Y'all have my permission to call me a racist. If you catch me calling a white child a cracker for stealing something out of my bag, I know for a fact I'd never do that. I'm not a degenerate like that. I know for a fact I'd never do that. But if I do, you got my permission. You find my address, go ahead and post it online. Go ahead and share it. Go ahead and like it and all that. And at the end of the day, you know what I'm going to say? I shouldn't have done that. I had it coming. I should have known better. Let me go check into a hotel somewhere, find somewhere else to live, and make sure next time I watch my mouth. How about that? Huh? How about that? No accountability on your end. That's what it sounds like to me.
culture. Instead, she put up a give, send, go. Here it is. And she basically said, look, I'm being threatened. My address has been published and I need a little bit of money in order to relocate. And it's done rather well. We're now over $700,000. She says here, look, I've been put in a very dire situation. I recently had a kid steal from my son's diaper bag. I called him out on it. My address has been doxed. My details, my phone number's been leaked. I need my...
Called him out? A kid? That is crazy. Now listen, it doesn't surprise me that a racist will call a kid a racial slur. But I don't think that, how is she a victim? I'm not understanding. How much of this does she accept responsibility for? What does she hold herself accountable for? They're not holding this lady accountable for nothing. They're just saying, oh, she may have misspoke. Oh, she should have said something else. I'm dead serious. I don't understand their argument here. They don't. There is no argument.
Money to basically relocate my family. These are probably genuine concerns because similar people in the past have had violent repercussions for instances that have blown up across the cancel culture. What you notice there is that at no point did she apologise, at no point did she grovel, at no point did she, beg for forgiveness. She didn't go quiet and hope it would all go away. She didn't do all of the things that you're supposed to do under the white guilt industrial complex, which is to simply surrender, put your tail between your legs and, hope for the best and hope for mercy. Now, this cancel culture has been rife for...
What? Why not just say, I shouldn't have called the kid a racial slur, but he stole something out of my bag. My fault. But the fact that she didn't apologize, me personally, I don't care. I believe that was staged anyways. That was staged. He was that guy, that Somalian, just trying to get a bag. It was staged. And technically, the kid wasn't even black, because those Somalis don't consider themselves black. But what I understand, the kid was Somali as well.
Hope for mercy. Now, this cancel culture has been rife for, really, it's a phenomenon of the social media age, so a good 15 years at this point. And at no point during that has the tactic of begging for mercy ever worked. Ever. It's never worked. And she went a different way. She just instinctively knew to go the other way, which is complete defiance.
Ain't nobody asked her to beg for mercy. What the hell are you talking about? I don't even know what this dude is talking about, man. Nobody expected her to tuck her tail. Oh, she was expected to just tuck her tail and surrender. What? Okay, let's continue.
Oh, people have got very upset about this give, send, go, this fundraising. How dare she raise money after using a bad word? That's not what she's supposed to do. Give, send, go hosts a whole bunch of, other cases here. So
that is crazy. You don't think that's crazy? That's going to happen. And listen, I personally don't care. You use a racial slur. Let's say in this incident. Okay, people coming after you. You want to move to a different location? Knock yourself out. That's probably a good idea. Yeah, you should go somewhere else. But don't you have somewhere else to go? You don't know nobody. You just about to buy a whole new house? Really? And you want more than a down payment to that new house, right? $1 million. You just want to go pay cash for what? A very nice house? On its face, that just seemed like a hustle to me. Even with the Carmelo Anthony thing. You want to relocate. You want to buy it. Now, I don't know if they actually bought a house. I heard that they never even bought a house, but I don't know. But man, you just going to buy a whole new house? That's kind of crazy. And listen, wouldn't like a down payment to a house be enough? If you're making payments on the home you got now, just sell it. Get you a down payment. Go get in somewhere else, because listen, if the legal system is not going to protect you, you probably need to relocate. You got your address out there. I don't think her address should have been put out there. Not for that. Okay, yes, it was a evil thing to do. But knowing that there are a lot of crazy people in the world, yeah, her address shouldn't have been put out there. Now, when there's a fatality and you just got it coming like that, you know, let's say you unalive the child and got away with it and were behaving the way she is, then yeah, they put your address out there. Hey, good luck to you. But in this case, in this situation, nah. But still, that's not like they're looking at this as some type of white victory. That don't make sense. What are y'all celebrating, man? The fact that what? That she didn't apologize? Okay, she didn't apologize. Whoop-de-doo. That don't, y'all saying, oh, now is this the end of white guilt? Okay. What difference is it gonna make?
This Louis Molly Mango, I can't pronounce names. He's raised $1 million in order to fund his defence case for walking up behind a man and shooting him in the back, the farmer CEO. We won't get into that case now, but, you know, I didn't even know that this was a fundraising. This had attracted no comment whatsoever. Anyway, he got £1 million for shooting a man in the back. And then, of course, this Carmelo chap has raised $500,000 in the last 3 weeks. He murdered a completely innocent young man with his life ahead of him.
What was this GoFundMe for? This Gibson go for? Was it for the same thing, to relocate, to buy a whole new house, huh? I'm sorry, that sounds like a hustle. If I was in that situation, I'd be like, okay, all I need is a down payment for another house. I'm making payments currently. I just, start paying on that and put this house up for sale. You're going to make a little bag off the house. Yeah, off the house that you're selling. But you're not going to be out of no money. You got enough for a down payment. When you want $1 million and enough to just go out and buy a house for cash, yeah, you just bag hunting at that point.
Because he basically suggested that he shouldn't be where he was. I mean, I don't know what Carmelo was up to. Maybe he was coming along to watch the sports. I've heard people suggest that he was there to steal. I have no idea what was going on. All I know is that if somebody says you shouldn't be here, the correct response is not to stab them to death, but that's what he did. His father came out and did all of the things that you're supposed to do under the white guilt industrial complex, which is coming along to watch the sport.
Wait. This guy.
I've heard people suggest that he was there to steal. I have no idea what was going on. All I know is that if somebody says you shouldn't be here, the correct response is not to stab them to death, but that's what he did.
See, that's a lie. Why do you have to lie? Why do you have to lie? He didn't stab him just because he told him to move. Why do y'all keep saying that? Why do y'all keep trying to lie like that? Y'all know full well that's a whole different statement than including the fact that he tried to physically move them. And I don't care what, shove or whatever. You don't put your hands on nobody because they can do anything to you. Anything could happen. Once you put your hands on somebody, you give them the green light to justifiably hurt you in self-defense. We all know this. Why are y'all playing dumb? Why are you playing dumb? You figure every time you think when it's to your benefit, you want to play dumb and pretend like you don't know this. And you talking about football players and it was already heated. This guy much smaller. Yeah, he was trying to manhandle. He tried to strong arm him over there. Some people saying, why didn't he just fight him? Yeah, you know you're going to lose. And if you lose, a guy over 200 pounds, you 140 pounds, he could kill you. He could easily kill you. You get knocked out, they can just continue to hit you until you die. Anything can happen to you. It don't take much to kill a person. It wouldn't make sense for him to duke it out with somebody that big. And I heard it was two football players. This guy coming up to you and put his hands on you, you should know better. That's not somebody y'all should be out here defending. Oh, you should get out of here. That football player, that Austin Metcalf, should have called the authorities, called security, called the cops, called somebody. This dude over here, he know he ain't supposed to be over here, justified or not. Like, hey, this guy over here, he's trying to start trouble. He's over here, he's looking for somebody to say something to him. He's trying to provoke us to say something to him. Please come out here. He's creating a hostile work environment. You don't take your hillbilly ass over there trying to act like Superman. You think you some type of superhero out of a movie somewhere. You think you about to strong arm him and toss him, drag him across the street? That's your mistake. That was his mistake. Y'all better snap out of that superhero nonsense. Think you can walk around putting your hands on people. You can't do that. You can't do that. What part about that don't y'all understand? You're constantly trying to project yourself as a victim, this guy as a victim, when he put his hands on that little dude. I'm quicker to not put my hands on small dudes. I'm more willing to fight somebody my size because I figure they're less likely to use a weapon. But a smaller dude, a dude some 130 pounds, he's far more likely to pull out a weapon. So I don't want to hear it, man.
His father came out and did all of the things that you're supposed to do under the white guilt industrial complex, which is to, immediately forgive the killer, try and call out the people who were bringing race into this, and he got swatted. I mean, twice now. He's been doxed. He's been treated appallingly, although he did cuck fully, as you are indeed.
So what? He wasn't. It was not. It was, who was responsible for doing all that stuff to this guy? Less than 1% of the black population. You want to include all the people who left comments in support online? Maybe 2% of the black population. I ain't doxed them. I ain't post no address nowhere. Y'all not about to make everything a black thing. Everything a black person do somewhere, y'all want to act like it's the responsibility of the entire black population. Get out of here with that goofy nonsense, man. Crazy.
Although he did cuck fully, as you are indeed supposed to, under the white guilt industrial complex, so it didn't work out for him. Very interestingly, while we're on the Give, Send, Go angle, I noticed that the CEO of Give, Send, Go, the day after the Hendrix fundraiser went out, decided that he needed to remove comments on her Give, Send, Go and also on the Carmelo Give, Send, Go. And he's trying to do this in the instinct of fairness, apparently, because ugly things were being said on both of them. And he really decided that in order to keep it balanced, he needed to turn off comments on both of them, which is very interesting because he did not turn off comments on the Carmelo Give, Send, Go for 3 weeks. And during that time, there was, an absolute plethora of very ugly comments, which were basically along the lines of, death to the white man, as we see here.
Why is this the only comment that y'all share? Death to the white man. I've heard a number of white supremacists say that on the Carmelo fundraiser, it's littered with anti-white comments. But this is always the only comment that they share. But let's say there are a bunch of, how many black people is that? And why are y'all trying to say, oh, this is the black population? Y'all, that's goofy, and y'all goofy in that way. Y'all really, this is what y'all really crying about? It is. Listen to them.
Many, many other examples. Now, I didn't go through, of course, all of the comments before they were removed on the Hendrix one, but I did notice that most of them seemed to be love of people, their own people, whereas the Carmelo one seemed to focus on hatred of white people. So, you know, one is...
Okay, are you trying to say that white people don't make anti-black comments online? Is that what you... Are you trying to say that there were no anti-black comments on their fundraiser? There are no anti-black comments on their social media, on their Twitter, these Twitter posts about the subject at all? Is that what you're trying to say? This is what I'm saying, man. We're wasting our time if you're trying to make an argument out of this. And honestly, this seems death to the white man. How many black people do you hear saying that? How many? This is questionable right here. This is suspect right here. Death to the white man. $5.
One is sharing love of white people, the other is sharing hatred of white people, and of course they both had to go. It's curious why there was that sort of rather big gap in the meantime. Now let's quickly address: does she actually need the money? Well, you know, is there any need for her to get the small amount of money that she was hoping to raise, and now the £700,000 that she has raised? Well, let's look at some of the reaction.
That lady, Shiloh Hendrix, whatever the fuck her name is, done called that little boy and gonna sit up here and make a GoFundMe to play victim. Girl, ain't nobody harass you, call you out your names, and give you racial slurs. That's crazy to me. And have the audacity to start a GoFundMe. It's gone now. Thank God people reported it. Because people like her, they deserve a bullet. They really do. That lady, Shiloh Hendrix...
So she deserves a bullet. And if you think that's bad, quite frankly, it gets a hell of a lot worse.
Okay. So what? You want... Are you saying this guy speaks for all of Black America? And all of Black America are saying that she needs a bullet? Is that your argument? Is that the jump you're trying to make here? These are weak, like, pathetic arguments. Y'all think anything one black person say that this is coming from the black community? Listen to the narrative from the black community. They say she deserves a bullet. What are you, retarded? What kind of goofy argument is that? What kind of argumentative tactic is that? The narrative from the black community is she deserves death. From one or two little comments online. Get out of here.
And that, rather than just threatening to assassinate the mother, this chap had a rather interesting line as to what should be done with the son.
He said, "Hey, TikTok, I just got a real quick question. So we all know what happened with Shiloh Hendrix and how she got all this money, right? Off all the wrong reasons. But you know what? It is what it is at this point, right? So I'm just sitting here thinking, what about the baby? What about the baby? Because technically that baby is going to grow up and be part of the Triple K. That baby might grow up to be Hitler. That baby is going to grow up and probably be the worst of the worst out there in the world. And you know what? I don't want that baby policing children that look like me. I don't want that baby growing up doing anything else that's people that look like me, all because it was taught that. But since, unfortunately, CPS is not going to be able to do nothing, what should we do? I think you guys should let me know in the comments, because part of my thinking was, start a GoFundMe, you know, raise about $1 million, go slap the hell out that baby, make that baby brainless or something for a while. At least you still get the wheel. I mean, there just might be, you know.
So this gentleman is suggesting that the correct thing to do is to raise £1 million and give that to somebody to go and give the baby brain damage, just in case he grows up to be another Hitler. This one is meshing together quite nicely white guilt industrial complex themes with boomer truth regime aspects in there as well. Why not?
Look at the lack of accountability. Look at the lack of accountability. Don't you agree? Wouldn't you agree that racists are evil people? True racists? Do you believe that lady is a true racist? I would say yes. I believe that lady is a real, bona fide, true to heart racist. I truly believe that. For her to use a racial slur against a kid, I believe she's a bona fide, the most evil kind of racist possible. I do believe that. And she is going to pass that to her kids, some of which could be males who could then go and carry out much more serious acts of racism. Why don't we hear you white folk pointing this out? That, hey, this is a problem. This lady is, or very likely, most likely, a racist. Because that was a racist thing to do. That's a kid. You don't use racial slurs at kids. She was talking to the child. And I'm saying I don't care if it was staged or not. You don't do that. She wasn't part of the staging of it, right? They're saying that the Somali was just, trying to use the video and anti-black energy to get a bag, because he put up a fundraiser too. He was trying to milk this thing too. But why don't we ever hear white people talking about how much of a problem real racism is? Even when you have an example of racism coming from white folk, we never hear white people talking about how much of a problem real racism has always been in this country and is today as we speak. Y'all don't talk about it, and y'all pass this attitude to Keisha. Haven't y'all connected these dots? This complete lack of accountability that we deal with from Keisha, they got it from the slave masters. Let's talk today. Let's talk today. Got it from these racists, white supremacists. There's no excuse. There is no reason why y'all should not be talking about real racism. If you're truly not a racist, we should be hearing these discussions from you white people who are not racist. We should hear discussions from you talking about how much of a problem it is. Instead, you constantly paint yourselves as victims.
I'll throw it all in there, but it's interesting, isn't it? We live in a society where, a woman is perhaps a rather tactless after some very poor behaviour at a child's park that absolutely.
She displayed genuine racism. True racism.
Called out. Perhaps it could be done in a nicer way, but the behaviour most certainly should have been called out. She is the victim of, a doxing and a media.
Bring that back and look for the parent. Somebody's kid, take something from my kid's bag. Hey, bring that back. Where's your mother? Where's your father? Where are your parents? You don't call that child no name. No name. Especially not a racial slur. Are you insane? Yes, she was. That is a vile, sick, evil, racist broad that y'all defended, and you all know it. You all know she is among the lowest of the low dirtbags walking this country. You all know it, and you're defending that vile, sick racism. That's the problem here. And not even an open display of racism will get y'all to talking about or even acknowledging that racism exists and that has ever been a problem in history. Racism has shaped our current race relations. But we never hear y'all talk about how it's a problem. That's a problem.
Smear campaign who obviously expected to destroy her life, and every other time they would have been right. But this gentleman here can call for a baby to be given brain damage on the off chance that he might grow up to do something disadvantage a member of his tribe. There is a rather massive racial double standard going on here, which I do want to address. But before I do, I think there's one other point that I kind of need to make about this.
Wait a minute, what are you talking about? That was a good point. that lady could pass racism, her racist attitudes, down to her kids. That was a fair point. Okay.
Which is, what exactly was a Somalian child doing in the park filming children in the first place? That seems to have been overlooked, and that is, that is potentially the elephant in the room here.
Okay, what difference that make? Let's say, if this is all true, then yeah, maybe he is a dirtbag. He is. Because I believe that was a scam. He's a tether. He's trying to leech off anti-black sentiments. Because he don't identify as black. Those Somalians do not identify as black at all. They are in fact, tend to be extremely anti-black. But because she called him the N-bomb, called the kid the N-bomb, he decided to be black at that moment. Just to get a bag, to try to milk a bag, which he did.
In the first place. That seems to have been overlooked. And that is, that is potentially the elephant in the room here.
Now look at this.
But anyway, moving on. Why exactly are there these double standards? Now, if you are even tangentially involved in social media in any way, you are used to seeing countless examples. I'll play one here. Maybe I'll kill someone. But countless examples of black on white violence. It is, I just picked this one here. I'd never seen this one before. This one was just one that popped up today. I don't know if it's old or new, whether it's a rehash, but...
Okay, so this is the complaint, that there are videos of black women beating up other black women online. Tell me there are no videos of white people beating up black people online? I see them all the time. They pop up all the time. What are you talking about? And what are we supposed to make of this? What are we supposed to take from this?
Countless examples, myriad examples of regular black on white beatings, violence. It has become so standard that we just don't remark on it. These examples are legion.
The typical everyday white person is not getting beat up by mobs of black people. Are you really saying that this is a problem? Okay. Talk about an isolated incident. Okay. Can we at least get some numbers, some statistics to back this up? This is your complaint? Some videos online of a white chick getting jumped by some black girls.
I remember not so long ago when we were being told that we, must stay inside the house and, do absolutely nothing productive because otherwise some old people might get slightly ill. There was an exception made for Black Lives Matter. And during that, numerous people were doxed.
Here we go again. White people need to understand. Black people are quicker to attack another black person than they are to attack a white person. They're quicker to attack another black person than they are to attack another white person. And especially so with black females. You got to really do something for them to attack you, especially for them to attack a white female. They admire white females. So I'm wondering, did this white girl in this video that you're showing, did she say something? Did she say something to set them off? You just showing the fight with no content, no story behind it. And you expect this to carry some kind of weight. You got 3 Keishas jumping on a Becky. What's the story behind it? Again, most black women don't walk around with hostility towards white women like that. They admire white women. They look up to white women. They wear their hair. They want to style themselves like white women. They get their character and personality from white women. What are you talking about?
Fired, cancelled, because they had the temerity to say that all lives matter.
Do not drink cold
Oh, here we
water.
go. Here we go with the Black Lives Matter. Again, it is not our job to defend Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is a white organization started by a whole rich white man, and he got some Caribbeans, some non-black Americans to create it. Y'all need to stop with that old trope trying to dump Black Lives Matter on black Americans. We ain't got nothing to do with that goofy LGBT anti-black male, heterosexual black male organization. Get out of here. But let's play devil's advocate. The Black Lives Matter organization actually, they won that exchange against the white supremacists. To come out and say Black Lives Matter makes sense when black lives are treated by the system as if they don't matter. See, when black lives are treated as if they don't matter, then it opens the door for people to say, hey, black lives matter. So you can't counter that with all lives matter, because all lives are not being treated this way. Y'all lost. That's a losing argument. And it's really just logic. It doesn't work. The word, oh, goodness. We all speak English, don't we? But let's continue.
Which should be self-evident. But no, apparently not. Saying that all lives matter is wrong because, frankly, all lives do not matter.
To come in and say all lives matter is your way of saying I don't acknowledge that black lives are being treated as if they don't matter. You're just revealing that you turn a blind eye to the devaluing of black life. And you want to instead get people to overlook that. All lives matter. And the saying of Black Lives Matter, that's not saying that other lives don't matter. That doesn't work. A person who comes in and says Black Lives Matter, you can't accuse them of saying that other lives don't matter when there's already a problem of black lives being devalued. It sort of comes in to fill the void of black lives and only black lives being devalued. The saying Black Lives Matter fills that void. Lord, this is such a goofy argument. Y'all need to stop with these goofy arguments.
Matter under this current paradigm. Black lives matter, but all lives do not matter. And we can see this evidence from what is pushed in the media and the lines that they take. Examples such as this. This one. Who is this chap? This is Ezekiel Emmanuel Hopkins. He was a chap who wanted to steal a family's car, and the man of the house intervened to try and stop his car from being stolen. And Ezekiel here was so enraged, so absolutely enraged that the man had attempted to stop him from stealing a car, that he beat him to death with a baseball bat. And then he walked into the house that the man had come out of, and he very nearly beat his wife to death. Then he beat his son to death. And fortunately, their grandson, who is just 10 years old, was able to hide in a bathroom and call police, call 911, who responded to the scene. But he beat two people to death and a woman very nearly to death because they attempted to stop him from stealing the car. The reason I mention this example is because I'd never heard of this, and I work in a job where we, regularly scan the news for things that are going on, especially things that might appeal to our audience that we can put out on this particular channel. And I'd never heard of this. The reason I'd never heard of this particular example is because there are just so many of them. And they go without comment all the time. And yet we are expected to believe...
Because there's so many of them. You never heard of this story because there are so many stories like this? I don't understand this argument. What is he trying to argue? What is he trying to argue? Wait a minute.
That, especially things that in a car. The reason I mention this example is because I'd never heard of this, and I work in a job where we, regularly scan the news for things that are going on. Especially things that might appeal to our audience that we can put out on this particular channel. And I'd never heard of this. The reason I'd never heard of this particular example is because there are just so many of them, and they go without comment all the time. And yet,
they go without comment? What are you talking about? Fox 10 reported on it. You talking about it? It's in the news. Multiple media outlets reported on it. What do you mean? That it's not going viral like this incident? Is that what he's saying? I think that's what he's saying. Let's let him finish.
We are expected to believe that things like this can be brushed under the carpet, that they simply don't matter, they don't merit comment.
No, there's no problem with you saying that stuff like this is a problem. What do you accept all black America to accept responsibility for this situation? This man trying to steal a vehicle, the owner trying to stop him, he beat him to death with a baseball bat. This ain't even a common problem in this country. What are you talking about? Are you trying to say this happens a lot and too often? What is he even trying to argue? This makes no sense. You bring up some crazy story. What are you saying? It happens so often and we brush them under the rug. No, we're not. If there are news reports of it, it's not being brushed under the rug. Is he saying mainstream media ain't talking about it? Don't we hear reports like this on mainstream media? I have no idea what he's talking about.
A woman being rather tactless and using a bad word, well, that invites a media shit show. An absolute storm erupted off the back of that. But she did the right thing. She didn't...
What? This is so pathetic. This is pathetic. It's just a little whiny, worthless arguments that y'all making out here. Her situation got more attention than situations like this. Well, yeah, that usually happens when you're attacking children. Most people look at that as a more heinous crime than robbery. Yeah, bums steal cars. He obviously ain't got no job and ain't making no real money. Bums try to steal. There ain't nothing surprising about that. That's what we expect bums to do, don't we? This dude ain't got no job. There's no reason to steal a car if you're a hard-working man with a job. He's a bum. A bum. A bum tried to steal a car. And he's obviously a lunatic as well, who should be in a straitjacket. And again, we expect people like that to do these things. We don't expect random adult white women at parks with their kids to call black kids niggas. The average person don't expect that to happen. That's why it got so much attention. Once again, no accountability. You expect people to look at that the same way they look at a bum trying to steal? Why are you trying to take the relevance out of racism? This is dumb. I mean, what is with these arguments and angles they're coming? I don't get it.
A woman being rather tactless and using a bad word, well, that invites a media shit show. An absolute storm erupted off the back of that. But she did the right thing. She didn't apologise. She didn't back down. People were expecting...
You think that it was the right thing for her to not apologize? Why? If I used a racial slur against a white kid, I would have no problem with apologizing for it. Like, yeah, I was upset. I apologize for that. I normally don't go around using racial slurs on kids. Who in their right mind, what kind of civilized person would have a problem with apologizing for that? What did he steal? A toy? What was in your kid's bag, in her kid's bag? This ain't no type of argument. I'm sorry. The white supremacists, this is what this stream is about. Examining y'all's current complaints. And you ain't making no sense. Sounding crazy. This is dumb. These are dumb arguments.
Well, that invites a media shit show. An absolute storm erupted off the back of that. But she did the right thing. She didn't apologise. She didn't back down. People were expecting, the cancel culture people were expecting an easy win. And this is the key thing.
What? So y'all happy that she raised a bunch of money in the GoFundMe after doing this? What type of win is that? Y'all really look at that as some type of victory? That's corny. What? That is weird and corny. No, he's not. This guy's in the UK.
Key point to take away. This industrial grade white guilt complex lasts for precisely as long as we let it last. It lasts for as long as we all agree to keep playing along. And it stops the moment that we decide that we've had enough. That's why this fundraising is important.
So this, basically what you're saying is, we whites are tired of hiding our racism and how racist, deranged, and demonic we are. And we want to just have the freedom to be open racist. That's basically what it is. We can't hold it in no more. Oh, Jim Crow has to come back. We so bad want overt and open racism. Hey, get over here, boy. Get over here, nigga. Oh, get your little niglet kid. Oh, you little nigga. Bring that toy back, you little nigga. You deranged idiots. You deranged idiots. What are y'all trying to argue here? You're tired and fed up of what? What more do y'all want to be done?
That's why I've given money to this fundraising. Not because I agree with necessarily what she said. I believe that she was right to call out the boy who was acting irresponsibly and very badly and attempting to thieve, and certainly wasn't 5 years old. He was at least 10. He should have known better.
Even if it was a 10-year-old, that's a kid. Where's your parents? Where are your parents? I'm not going to call no 10-year-old white kid no racial slur. You know how much of a degenerate you have to be to do that? Huh? That's what has people upset. And it just shows how immoral and inhumane you are, that you don't understand that you don't get that. I wouldn't even accidentally, forget about a racial slur, I wouldn't call a 10-year-old no name at all. And y'all just don't get it. And you want to paint her as the victim? That don't make no sense.
She was right to call him out, but she was a little bit tactless in the way that she did it. But the point is this. The white guilt industrial complex, the cancel culture crew.
No, your white guilt industrial complex, cancel culture, white guilt argument is dumb. Don't even make no sense. Incoherent. This is a fail. This is a fail.
Thought that they could simply achieve another scalp. And through this fundraising, they now have to...
Shut up. Shut up. Get comfortable. Okay. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Hopefully, he can do a better job than the previous guy. I want to hear y'all's complaints. I want to hear your arguments. Let's hear it.
Something very interesting has happened in the United States. And I'm trying to think of a very delicate way of putting this. But it seems, honestly, that just a lot of white people in America have just had enough of the way that they are treated and are...
Again, how are y'all coming away from this story, this scenario, believing that whites are the victims? How is she a victim?
Seems, honestly, that just a lot of white people in America have just had enough of the way that they are treated and are expected to respond to ethnic minorities, in particular black...
How was she treated? Okay, Lord, okay. I'll let him finish. Let's go.
Have just had enough of the way that they are treated and are expected to respond to ethnic minorities, in particular black people. Now, I want to be clear that I am not in any way encouraging any kind of racial abuse. I do not agree that we should be racially abusing each other at all. But there is a racial angle to this issue and this story, and I can't properly talk about it without acknowledging that that's the case. So this image is a still from a video that features a young lady, a young mother, called Shiloh Hendricks. Now, I'm not going to play the video because in it she repeatedly uses the N-word, because an autistic 5-year-old boy apparently stole something out of her baby bag, and she, I guess, had just kind of snapped. She just kind of had it. And
this boy was autistic? Y'all defending a broad, calling a kid a racial slur? That's what you're hanging your hat on? That's your Rosa Parks moment? This is goofy.
To calling this boy the N-word. And this was recorded by a Somalian man who was, for some reason, loitering around the kids' park, which we'll get to in a minute. And she was just completely unrepentant. She was like, nope, I said what I said. I'm not going to apologize. I'm basically absolutely done with the way that these things keep happening in the United States.
What? You're done with autistic kids stealing toys, stealing whatever he stole out of a bag at a public park out in the open. How many of y'all dealing with this? How many white Americans have dealt with this? How many of you have dealt with this? This is the problem. Oh, it's plaguing you. I don't get it. Y'all the ones playing victim. This is a pathetic display of, oh, I'm the victim. We're the victim. White victim. Y'all talking about race card. This is goofy. But let's continue.
In a minute. And she was just completely unrepentant. She was like, nope, I said what I said. I'm not going to apologize.
Which was crazy and wrong. Y'all trying to project her refusal to at least apologize for that sick behavior. That's a L. That's a fail.
Absolutely done with the way that these things keep happening in the United States. And I think this really resonated with a lot of people. And that, one might think, should provoke a national conversation in America about what the standards are for white people and black people, because they're not the same. And we have seen repeatedly standards for black people that would never be accepted for white people, and vice versa. And it's, of course, not in the white people's favor.
Okay, here we go with these vague scenarios that don't mean nothing. Nothing but a bunch of word salad. Make a point. All that rubbish, you're not making a point.
And I think that I honestly think that part of the issues that people have with the black community stem from this permissiveness about letting them do things that are just otherwise unacceptable in what is supposed to be an integrated mixed race society by liberal standards. And I think this drives a lot of white separatist thought. Because, I mean, ultimately, why wouldn't you come to the conclusion that if you're being treated by one standard, another group of people are being treated by another standard, and their standard is not only superior to your own, which is bad enough as it is, but it also hurts your community, you can see why people would be bothered about that.
Okay, let's see some examples. You still ain't said nothing yet. Let's see some examples. Only after you give examples will what you're saying have merit.
Want any more of this? Anyway, so the original Rooftop Korean says, yeah, fair enough, because during the LA riots, he was guarding his shop roof while black people rioted, burned down, and beat to death some white people because of Rodney King.
Okay, so, okay. Again, these anecdotal little personal situations that don't prove nothing.
And like I said, this can only go on forever, for so long, and people are going to start really, really, really getting resentful.
What? What
Now,
are you
the
talking about? Okay, white people, how many of you have been beaten up and jumped by a mob of white people, black people? Is this really a problem in white America? Y'all getting jumped on and beat on by black people? Lord, this is not real.
Who was filming was apparently an accused sex offender from Somalia. He was he and someone else will appear in court on May the 5th after being accused of raping a 16-year-old after offering her a place to stay.
Okay, this guy being some sick weirdo has nothing to do with this scenario. I don't know why I keep bringing his background up. This dude seems like a scammer, which he was, and he may have a filthy background. Stop trying to link that in with this scenario. His background had nothing to do with her decision to call a child a racial slur. Y'all trying to make it seem like, oh, it's justified to call the kid a racial slur because this guy has a filthy background. Get out of here. If y'all got a legit argument somewhere, I'll acknowledge it. But I ain't seeing nothing here. Nothing. Y'all look pathetic. And it's crazy that y'all out here thinking that you're looking strong and powerful. Oh, we fed up. This is what Anton Daniels is defending, by the way. This goofy nonsense.
And at this park is a question I don't have an answer for. But anyway, so after this, Shiloh Hendricks started a give, send, go. Because she wanted to help protect her family. Because as she says, we've moved to a dire situation. I recently had a kid steal from my 18-month-old son's diaper bag at the park. I called the kid out for what he was. Another man...
He stole from your 18-month-old kid's diaper bag. So he stole a flipping toy. What's in an 18-month-old diaper bag? What are some of the items in there? A bottle? Toys? Maybe some formula? The autistic black, we'll call him black, child stole something that he couldn't even use. And this is some type of victory? Y'all claim this is some type of victory? Oh, yes, the little nigger. Y'all defending her for... Lord, this is degenerate.
We recently found...
This is degenerate.
This park is a question I don't have an answer for. But anyway, so after this, Shiloh Hendricks started a give, send, go. Because she wanted to help protect her family. Because as she says, we've moved to a dire situation. I recently had a kid steal from my 18-month-old son's diaper bag at the park. I called the kid out for what he was. Another man who recently found has a history of law enforcement. Please follow me and record me and follow me to my car. He then posted these videos online, which caused my family and myself great turmoil. She got doxed. A lot of her stuff has been circulated online, apparently. And she's got problems. And so she created a fundraiser. Initially, it was for $20,000.
That lady used... She called that guy record the adult male. She said, what? F you, nigger. She said something to him, too. That lady is a bona fide white supremacist, racist, degenerate. That's irrefutable. And that's why they're supporting her the way they are. That's why they're supporting her the way they are. Because they see that she is irrefutably a bona fide white supremacist, racist, dirtbag, degenerate, just like themselves. And it don't surprise me at all.
Then it sailed past that, so then it was $250,000. And now she's raised it to $1 million, and she's on 350,000 almost. Which is remarkable. Because this story seems to have caught the attention of the white separatist Twitter, and they have decided that no, they are going to use this in the way that the black community uses their fundraisers. And I think that Dissident West here is correct, that what is happening right now is basically a proxy race war. It is coming so quickly after the Carmelo Anthony incident and the manifest injustice that came from that. And
another stupid case. Go ahead.
I can see why a lot of people are angry, right? Again, just
You can, I can't. I'm not seeing what you're talking about. I'm not seeing your point here, dude. At all. Keep your hands to yourself. Somebody poke you up, that's on you, stupid. I tell you what, run up on me. Where you think I'm somewhere where you think I ain't supposed to be. Get big and bad if you want to. Come put your hands on me. Let a black person, let a big black man come up to you telling you you ain't supposed to be somewhere. You in a public place and put his hands on you while you're armed. Don't tell me that you wouldn't use your weapon. And don't tell me that you wouldn't say that you would justify using it. Y'all ain't got no argument here. Y'all out here looking stupid.
Austin Metcalf, the lad he killed. And a lot of people are saying things like no more white guilt, no more white shame. This is the only way forward.
No more white guilt, no more white shame. This is nothing but a bunch of degenerate racist white supremacists who are just saying, oh, I just want to be an open white supremacist out in the open. Get out of here.
Why should they have to live with this kind of burden? And you can see that actually a lot of it is, just self-love, right? Whether you like it or not, whether you agree with them.
Self-love. Told you, this is a lightweight race war. That's all this is. The racists of the world, they want to just express it out in the open. They want to be able to walk up to black people. You don't belong here. Grab them. What? Toss them across the street like Superman. Get out of here, nigger. Want to be able to see a black child steal a toy out of a baby bag. Oh, you little niglet nigger. F you, nigger. That's what y'all defending. You dummies.
They aren't saying we hate black people. They're saying we like white people, which is quite different.
The Somali is a convicted PDF file. That may be true. But what does that have to do with her decision to call a child a nigger? Let me know. Because I'm not connecting those dots. Why do people keep bringing that up? And I'm not defending this dude. I don't care about this dude. Somalis hate black Americans. And this dude may have been a degenerate. But that don't have nothing to do with her decision. Y'all acting like that is relevant. How? I'm not understanding how that's relevant. And it should not be brought into this story, if you ask me.
What was going on Carmelo's one? Before we get to that, though, she's been reported to the police, even though I'm sure that what she's done in America isn't actually a crime because of the First Amendment. I'm reasonably sure she can say anything she likes within reason. And it's interesting that Give Sengo decided to wipe the comments on Carmelo's one. So, for example, if you go to his, where he raised $500,000 for murdering a young lad who was white, totally unreasonable, in my opinion, like utterly barbaric, frankly, and brutal. And
oh, listen. This is a fail. That's a fail. Saying that he raised $500,000 for murdering someone is a fail. You can't do that. Y'all trying to give a pass to walking up, putting your hands on people. You can't do that. You might get poked up. You might get poked. Anything can happen. And we've seen examples where people have more dangerous weapons than guns. So make me understand. There are obviously people who believe that it's justified to physically move black people from places where they think they shouldn't be. I'm not understanding. If you can help me understand that, please do.
The comments are all gone. You don't get to see the messages. Just the donors. Very interesting. Because I think a lot of people noticed that...
And I ain't taking responsibility for no comment section somewhere. I ain't taking responsibility for none of that. Let me read the comments. And then you gonna understand that don't represent all of black America.
As Callum's pointed out, Carmelo's mentions, the comments that went along with it, were anti-white hatred.
Once again, that exact same comment that other dude showed. That's the only comment that's circulating. I can't find no other ones. And what you want? All of black America supposed to take responsibility for this? Because I don't hear any blacks saying this. Y'all tell me the podcasters, the content creators who have said this. Where are they? Where are they? Are y'all saying y'all tired of hearing black people say stuff like this? Let me know where the black people are that are saying it. So right now, it only looks like this is all y'all have. This little faceless comment. This is weak.
I mean, death to the white man. How much worse can you get? Whereas with hers, it's, good luck. I hope you're okay.
Really? Are you really trying to argue that there are no racist comments left online by white racists against black people? That's what you hang your hat on? Oh, we white people, we face too many racist comments online. Shut up. The same little pathetic comment.
The tone is so obviously different. Again, if you're upset that in less than 5 years America went from supporting George Floyd to supporting Shiloh Hendricks, you're really not going to like what comes next. Yeah, well, I mean, people, I think, are really annoyed.
Wait, what?
I mean,
what?
Hendricks, you're really not going to like...
What? He said, if you're upset that in less than 5 years, America went from supporting George Floyd to supporting Shiloh Hendricks, then you're really not going to like what comes. Okay, whatever.
What comes next? Yeah, well, I mean, people, I think, are really annoyed. I mean, this is just... It's not acceptable that justice is denied when the races are of a certain tone and the races of a certain kind. It's
And he took the screenshot of that comment and put it down here too. This is weak, man. Why y'all trying to flex like you got a strong argument? This is not a strong argument.
It's just not acceptable. And the black community is not happy about this. For example, let's have a listen to this.
And you guys raised $250,000 for her? I am beyond disturbed. White people should not be forced to live among monkeys. Black fragility is getting pretty tiring.
Listen, the lady raised a bunch of money. I really ain't that pressed about that. I really don't care. People chase bags all the time. He chased bags all the time. And if she hasn't been arrested for it, and her idea is to relocate, and people willing to give her money to do it, what can we do about that? We can't stop it. No reason to get up in arms about it. But to project this as some type of victory, like it was justified that she use a racial slur against a kid, that's stupid. This ain't no victory, man. This is dumb.
Sometimes to be accurate, you have to use unpleasant speech. White advocacy. I want to say that I'm shocked. But I'm not shocked, I'm angry.
And these types of comments left online don't bother me either. And black people, y'all need to stop letting these stupid comments bother you too. Not living around monkeys and all this kind of stuff. Do y'all really sit up and have anxiety attacks when y'all read comments the way she did just then? Y'all need to put that in check, man.
$1,000 for her? I am beyond disturbed. White people should not be forced to live among monkeys.
Yeah, that right there. Y'all really let comments like that bother you? You shouldn't. You shouldn't, because they're everywhere. And you should see the people leaving them.
Black fragility is getting pretty tiring. Sometimes to be accurate, you have to use unpleasant speech. White advocacy. I want to say that I'm shocked. But I'm not shocked, I'm angry.
What is wrong? What is wrong with her? This broad tweaking out. I'm just asking, what's the argument? What are y'all's complaints? I don't get it. I don't get it. I truly just don't understand. I don't know what she tweaking out about. And her reaction, do not dump that. Do not mark that as Black America's response. Y'all make me sick with that. Stop doing that. Stop looking at these little goofy YouTube videos, looking at the reaction of this one black chick and saying, oh, look at Black America's response. Don't pin that on us. Get out of here. This chick got mental problems. Up here tweaking out.
And the black community is not happy about this.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Her response, her reaction is not the response and reaction of the black community, fool. White people, stop doing that.
And you guys raised $250,000 for her? I am beyond disturbed. White people should not be forced to live among monkeys. Black fragility is getting pretty tiring. Sometimes to be accurate, you have to use unpleasant speech. White advocacy.
Is she mad at Brad for not defending it? Yeah, that's probably it.
I want to say that I'm shocked. But I'm not shocked, I'm angry.
Okay. I mean, again, I'm sorry, but this man murdered someone. This man obviously went looking for trouble and murdered someone. And
maybe he was looking for trouble. I'll give y'all that. Maybe he was. Maybe he was like, let me take my knife, let me go over there. And if anybody put their hands on me, I'm going to poke them up. You should still know better than go put your hands on people. Because, you know, people do that all the time. They'll go somewhere armed and they'll say, hey, if somebody give me justifiable reason to defend myself, I'm ready to defend myself and I'm going to do it. Y'all still ain't got no argument. This is still weak. Weak. Stop trying to treat this Carmelo, Shiloh combination scenario like a victory. Oh, we're here now. Rosa Parks, our white guilt is over. Y'all sound stupid right now.
And in response, he raised $500,000 with many comments like this. Whereas...
And he brought that same exact comment once again. Y'all can't find no other comments? Is it that hard to find anti-white comments? This is looking bad.
Whereas she said a word that, don't get me wrong, I don't think that she should be calling a 5-year-old child the N-word. A 5-year-old child often is not not very well socialized. A lot of the time they do things that they shouldn't do. And sometimes they do things they know they shouldn't do and they do them anyway.
Okay. It's good that you acknowledge that.
Trust me, I know. So I don't think her response was in isolation reasonable. And I don't think she should have done it. But that doesn't mean I'm going to condemn people who, in a wider context, understand that there's something greater going on here. Again, like...
Huh? You lost me. You just lost me. Come on. Y'all, you can do better than that. You can do better than that.
I've done it. But that doesn't mean I'm going to condemn people who, in a wider context, understand that there's something greater going on here. Again, like, sorry, it was just speech. This was a murder. And it's hardly...
The lady just displayed speech. But the Carmelo thing was a murder. And are you saying that because her just using language, I have no idea what he's trying to argue here. And once again, he brought this same screenshot back up. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. Black fragility is getting pretty tiring. Sometimes, to be accurate, you have to use unpleasant speech. So that autistic kid stealing something out of an 18-month-old's bag, probably a toy, a bottle, that's a black thing? That's y'all's argument? That's typical of black people. You know, stealing. When blacks steal, okay, how many of you whites have had something stole from you from a black person? Most of you have nothing stole. Many of you never been around a black person in your life. Many of you have never met a black person in your life. Let's continue.
It was just speech. This was a murder, and it's hardly unique. It's hardly alone in the dynamics of it. And man, there were loads and loads and loads of people like this. There was a thread, in fact, of it. Where have I got? Yeah, there we go. There's just a thread of them, furious, absolutely furious, and trying to get her deplatformed from Give Send Go, who at time just
wait a minute,
unique. It's hardly alone in the dynamics of it. And man, there were.
Let's look at him. I want to see what he's talking about.
There were loads and loads.
They shouldn't call cops on these parents, though. 5-year-old who shot and killed baby brother was on cocaine while dead toddler had marijuana. Okay. They wouldn't call the cops on them. What?
Alone in the dynamics of it. And man, there were.
In case you're curious just how awful these people are, they 100% have called Child Protective Services on this woman. None of these people react like this when it's the inverse. So people have called, let's say black people have called Child Protective Services on this woman for using racial slurs against a child in the presence of the child. Now, if I'm not mistaken, according to the law, that is considered child abuse. According to the law, there's a lot of crazy stipulations in the law. That's one of them. I won't say crazy, but unique, you know, like where they describe scenarios that most of us wouldn't think of. So they called Child Protective Services on her. Okay, let's continue. Then someone responded and said they would not call CPS on these parents, though. Black parents, where a 5-year-old who shot and killed baby brother was on cocaine, while dead toddler had marijuana in the system. Y'all saying black people would not call the cops if a 5-year-old on cocaine shot and killed their baby brother? That's weak. And yes, black people would call the, what are you talking about? That's weak and stupid. You saying this is a black thing? How'd you find that out, buddy? This is a unique situation. And let's say that they didn't call the cops. How is that even comparable? Okay, let's continue. That's stupid.
Loads and loads and loads of people. Like this. There was a thread, in fact, and man, there were loads and loads and loads of people.
Me when she cried. Okay.
Like this. There was a thread.
Black kid stabbing white kid over a minor dispute. Black kid calling. No, you see in this top one? See, whites like to project this case as something that made black people happy. Happy that this white kid got stabbed and was unalived. That's not it at all. It's that you, based on the law, it's self-defense. Self-defense. You can't go putting your hands on people. Y'all, you can't say, oh, you're just happy that the kid died. No. Don't try to put that type of sick mentality onto it, which is what this meme is doing. Trying to make it sound like blacks were happy that the kid died. In fact, if you ask me, most black people would probably say that they wish that white kid had not died and that he instead just took a few pokes and recovered. if you ask me, most black people, if you take a poll, go around and ask, most black people will say that they wish he had not died from the stab wounds. But you go around putting your hands on people and you get poked up, you got what was coming to you. That's what it is. And hey, somebody let off on you. You can't go around putting your hands on people, because when you do that, that's threatening. Just as easily as I punched you, shoved you, grabbed you, I could have poked you. Right? I could have stuck a pole in you in that moment. And I still can. If I'm bold enough to walk up and put hands on you, that lets you know I might be holding something. So you better get to yours before I get to mine. People go into fight or flight mode when you walk up to them and start putting hands on. You don't do that. What is wrong? What about that? Don't y'all understand? And the inverse is actually correct. What is wrong with y'all for not being like, how is she? I still don't. Y'all projecting this lady as some kind of victim, as if it's justified to do that in response to a kid taking a toy. That is something that probably wouldn't even upset me. Say if I was a father, I'm at a park with my kid, 18-month-old kid. I got my baby's kid. Somebody else's kid takes a toy. I'd probably laugh, to be honest. 5-year-old take a toy out my kid's bag, I'd probably laugh. Hey, get back over here. Get over here. I laugh taking it back from him. A kid? You degenerates defending this sick lady, calling that kid a nigga. Y'all is degenerate. Y'all some sick, degenerate dirtbags, man. That's all this is. I don't want to hear nothing. You are a bunch of sick degenerates. Then you want to project this as a black thing. Got a kid still in a baby bottle. I slap you across the face. Y'all a bunch of sick degenerates. Defending this nonsense.
In fact, yeah, there we go. There's just a thread of them. Furious. Absolutely furious. And trying to get her deplatformed from Give, Send, Go, who at time of recording have not deplatformed her. So honestly, like I said, I don't agree with what she's done, but I can understand.
At the worst, I would have gave the little kid a lecture. And it's bad to steal. You don't steal. If you grow up and steal, you'll go to jail. You lose your freedom. You lose your job. It's bad to steal. That's the most I would have done. Somebody else's kid, and you only stole a bottle or a toy, and y'all want to defend her calling this kid a racial slur. You degenerate. There ain't no way around that.
She probably doesn't have a huge amount of money, probably lives in a rough area. I mean, why else would you be at a park where Somali accused sex offenders are prowling? And, sorry, this is just too damn bad. Just too damn bad. I mean, again, if the standard wasn't so evidently set by this community, then maybe I would have more of a problem with it. If we didn't see this repeatedly, and this is not the first time.
What? Wait.
Many others. Too damn bad. I mean, again, if the standard wasn't so evidently set by this community.
Huh? What standard? And once again, he pulls that same screenshot. Can't even find another comment. This is pathetic. It's pathetic.
Then maybe I would have more of a problem with it. If we didn't see this repeatedly, and this is not the first time, there have been many others. The George Floyd fundraisers were, again, eye-opening. Absolutely eye-opening. The level of resentment many people in the black community hold towards the white community, even though I don't think the white community in America deserves it at all.
What are you talking about? Okay, yeah, I've been hearing this complaint for a while, too. That, black people hate us so much. People, it's hatred for white people. Black people hate us so much. Stop it. That's pathetic. What are y'all looking at? Comments online? Is that what y'all talking about? There's a whole slew of racist comments about black people online. I'm not reading them and becoming distraught. What is wrong with y'all? There's so many anti-black comments online. They are everywhere. Twitter is littered with them. Instagram littered with them. Some of the websites I visit, Stormfront, littered with them. Y'all are broken down, having mental breakdowns over them. Y'all need to check it. That's a problem you got. That's another pathetic little argument. Oh, the resentment, the hatred to white people. Oh, they hate us so much. Oh, we can't take the hatred for white people. Shut up. Lord, I'm not hearing a strong argument here. Y'all had a strong argument with wanting your own territory. I'm like, yeah, I can co-sign with that. I even did a joint little thing with somebody online. I'm like, yeah, I openly acknowledge that is not an act of racism. To only want to mate with your own kind. I'm like, yes, that is not racist at all in the least. Y'all had good arguments there. And you may have more arguments. You may say that white kids learn better in all white schools. Boom. I agree. And even if I don't agree, I don't think there's anything racist about that. There may be other things that other people will call racist that I don't think is racist. But this ain't it. This ain't it. This is not the argument to hang your hats on. This is weak and stupid. It's not even a logical argument. It don't even stand on its feet.
If we didn't see this repeatedly, and this is not the first time, there have been many others. The George Floyd fundraisers were, again, eye-opening. Absolutely eye-opening. The level of resentment many people in the black community hold towards the white community, even though I don't think the white community in America deserves it at all. They're insanely tolerant people generally. And what they're upset about is a lack of tolerance. People have decided that, no, we're just going to speak out against what you're doing. And it's driving them mad. How dare you? Well, I mean, how dare you? And so people are pointing out this. And I'm just going to read this from Chad Crowley, because I think it does accurately summarize why Shiloh was able to raise, so far, $750,000. For years, the pattern was held. A white person makes a comment, sometimes crude, sometimes merely unfashionable. The video is clipped.
Okay. So this guy is going to sum it up for us. Chad Crowley.
As the pattern was held, a white person makes a comment, sometimes crude, sometimes merely unfashionable. The video is
crude, merely unfashionable. No. What this woman did in particular, that was irrefutably an act of racism. And even more than that, it was immoral, that was sick, that was degenerate. Racist, immoral, sick, evil, degenerate. That's the accurate description of what that is. I don't want to hear nothing. Shut up. I would have never even slipped no accidental. If I'm a father of an 18-month-old and I got an 18-month-old bag full of what? Bottles, toys, and somebody else's kid takes something, I'm going to laugh and take it from him. And look, he took the bottle. Get over here. Give me that. Use a racial slur, you degenerate. You want to call that, oh, it's just unfashionable? That's the problem right there. Y'all looking at scenarios like that, oh, that's just crude. Oh, that's just unfashionable. You degenerate. Let's continue.
Clipped, stripped of context, and cast into the digital coliseum. The crowd demands penance. Doxing follows. Then come sponsors, employees, the journalists. The result is always the same.
It's not stripped of context. We know what happened. An autistic kid took a toy, stole a toy.
Apology, groveling, ruin. This is not justice, it never was. It is a moral spectacle, a purification ritual for the postmodern West, where the cleansing agent is white submission. The apology is not meant to be accepted, but to...
No, again, a bunch of word salad. You don't get to put a bunch of word salad onto failed arguments. You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. White person makes a comment, sometimes crude, unfashionable. A video is clipped, stripped of context, and cast into the digital coliseum. The crowd demands patience. Doxing follows. Then comes the sponsors, the employers, journalists. The result is always the same: apology, groveling, ruin. Okay, this is not justice. It never was. It's a moral spectacle, a purification ritual for the postmodern West, where the cleansing agent is white submission. See, you trying to put a bunch of word salad propaganda onto failed arguments, and that don't work. That don't work. You got caught on camera calling a child a racial slur. That's an L for you. Goodbye. On to the next scenario. Now, I don't think they should have put your address out there. I wouldn't have done that. There are many blacks who would not have put your address out there. But when you do stuff like that, that's triggering. What do you expect? Especially with black Americans, with the history we have. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Y'all know the history we got. How whites used to ritually kill black babies, always treating black kids as if they're adults. Lynching kids. And then you have this scenario. Of course, what do you expect? Stop acting surprised when one of these evil, sick degenerates basically attacks a child and is caught on camera.
The postmodern West,
where the cleansing agent is white submission.
Cleansing agent is white submission. The apology is not meant to be accepted, but to affirm the guilt of the group. The goal is not reconciliation, but re-education, humiliation, and silence. Also catharsis for the black community. But this time, it was the case of Shiloh Hendricks. The script cracked. Her personal details were posted. She received death threats. Her children were targeted, and yet she did not capitulate. She did not appear on camera with a quivering voice and downcast eyes. She launched a fundraiser, and white people responded. Not the media, not...
So y'all happy that she didn't apologize? She didn't, and that she instead started a fundraiser. That's the win. That's the victory y'all talking about. Y'all just happy and proud that she didn't apologize. She just said, "Hey, I'm in trouble. I need to GoFundMe." Yeah, that's pathetic. That's pathetic. Y'all know she's sick. And y'all happy that she didn't apologize for actions that y'all admit was wrong.
Not the institutions, not the credential class, but ordinary white people. Tens of thousands poured in to support her. The platform, GiveSendGo, not GoFundMe, which obviously bans these things.
Wow. The white people responded. Not the media, not the institutions, not the credentialed class, but ordinary white people supported her, gave her a bunch of money. These were not donations. These are the stirrings of something new. Each dollar said, "We see what you are doing and we are done pretending." What? Done pretending what? You see how what they're basically doing is trying to say that the child stole because he's black. And we're tired of black behavior, this black behavior. The child stole the toy because he's black, and we're tired of pretending to be okay and accept black behavior. Is that what it is? That's kind of sick. That's kind of sick. There's nothing in this scenario. What are you talking about? We see what you are doing. What is she doing? Done pretending what? It don't even make no sense.
reported over 250,000 raisin days. These were not.
This is more than a defense of one woman. It is a rejection of the moral framework that made her a target. The Hendricks affair is not the first of its kind, but it is one of the first to end differently. No apology, no resignation, no collapse, instead resistance. And that, more than anything, signals a shift. The ritual is breaking, and with it, the spell of white guilt. What? So y'all happy that she didn't apologize, and what are you saying, that in the future, when you display obvious and irrefutable racism, that you won't apologize for it? Don't nobody care about your stupid apology anyway. The apology don't do nothing for us. I don't know why y'all so bent out of shape about apologies anyway. But basically you're saying that, hey, when we are obviously racist, we're going to stand on it and not apologize. Okay, whoop-de-doo, good for you. That's supposed to be a win, a victory. Oh, white guilt is over. Well, that was y'all's problem. White guilt is over. Oh, it's over. Nobody institutionalized no white guilt mentality on you. Don't put that on black people. If you feel guilty, that's because you just sat there and started feeling guilty about something you did. And that's all this is. Y'all feeling guilty about your own racist, sick behavior. And now you're getting to the point where you don't want to feel guilty. Same with slavery. They didn't want to feel guilty about slavery, so they said, oh, it's God ordained. It's all about removing the guilt for your own sick, twisted behavior. Because deep down, you naturally want to be the demonic, racist devil that you naturally are. All of you racist, white supremacists, this is you. This is you. You're tired of talking behind closed doors. You're tired of being racist and then having to apologize because you got caught on camera and now you might lose your job. This sounds crazy.
Donations, these were the stirrings of something new. Each dollar said, we see what you're doing and we are done pretending. This is more than the defense of one woman. This is a rejection of the moral framework that made her a target. The Hendricks affair is not the first of its kind, but it is one of the first to end differently. No apology, no resignation, no collapse, instead resistance. And more than anything else, that signals a shift. Ritual is breaking, and with it the spell of white guilt. And this, I am genuinely annoyed. I mean, I'm just furious, frankly, at the way that what's his face is the stabbed man's father was treated. Right? It's just genuinely awful because he was as contrite over this Carmelo murdering his son as anyone could possibly have been. I mean, he was openly forgiving. Like his mother, you know, the lad's mother was just like, well, I don't want to forgive. And I tell you what, if it was one of my sons, I wouldn't forgive either. But he did everything he could according to the script. He did everything he could, everything he thought he was supposed to do, and he wasn't accepted by the black community. He wasn't. They didn't say we're sorry. They didn't. The
black community. We don't have no spokesperson. The black community don't have no spokes. What are you talking about? I hate when they talk as if we got one big mouthpiece. Like there's some universal bullhorn for black America. What are you talking about? Goofballs. Get out of here, man. What are you talking about? We're going to go over this meme too.
He did everything he could, everything he thought he was supposed to do. And he wasn't accepted by the black community. He wasn't. They didn't say we're sorry. They didn't. The family of Carmelo didn't say I'm sorry, but we stole your son. Forever.
Carmelo's family didn't steal nobody's son. What are you talking? This is stupid, man.
And so, yeah, people are glad to see when someone's like, you know what, I don't care. I'm not having
that. Makes no sense. Son is killed, forgives killer, kicked out of killer's press conference. So the father showed up to the press conference for Carmelo, where Carmelo's supporters and family was, and he was kicked out. Big deal. Who cares? If I were him, I wouldn't have shown up there. Yet, what would he go up there for? To apologize? I don't know the details of that situation, but that sounds stupid and petty as well. It's not something to complain about. He went to their press conference around Carmelo supporters and family and got kicked out. That's no surprise. Even if he was apologetic, that's no surprise. Maybe they felt, it's just not the place. It's just not appropriate for you to be here. Big deal. Lord, that don't make you something. Oh, that makes us a victim. Oh, white people, shut up. Y'all be complaining about us complaining all the time when y'all be doing that stupid, petty complaining all the time. Now look at this one. Son is robbed. Listen to this. Son is robbed. An 18-month-old boy with formula and toys in his bag had one of his toys taken by another kid. They described, her son was robbed. That's classic white. That's that white victim. Y'all want to be victims so bad. That's what this boils down to. Been victimizing other people, black people, so long. Y'all want so desperately to be victims yourselves that you go overboard and you call cases where that you're a victim where you're not a victim at all. This is stupid. Her son is robbed. Pathetic. Want so desperately to be a victim. I guess that would actually help remove the guilt of being victimizers. Calls thief the N-word. Look at that. Use a racial slur against the kid. You just reveal you're a degenerate and an evil, sick person. See, a woman who would do that, if she were to run a daycare and you drop your black kid off to her and she got mad, what do you think would happen? You see, her doing that is connected to a whole lot of other things like that. People like this lady are teachers in society. And mothers. Past that evil, sick racism, I don't care what nobody say. You don't use no racial slur, no name calling against no kid at all, especially not something this petty. She just saw a black child. She saw the act of thievery, if we can call it that, kids. And her racism came out. She couldn't get, you nigger, get over here, you little nigger. Did you call him a nigger? Yeah, F you too, you nigger. And that's the one y'all want to defend. That's y'all's Rosa Parks. Let it be y'all's Rosa Parks if you want. Ours was far more classy and appropriate. That's y'all Rosa Parks. Get you little nigger. Yeah, go knock yourselves out. Retards.
Glad to see.
What's the next one? Call Steve the N-word, collects $100,000. Okay, and again, they view this as a win. Bravo. Bravo. This ain't no win. This is goofy and degenerate. Extremely degenerate. Sick.
When someone's like, I don't care. I'm not having this. And so, yeah, I just...
Y'all sick. To even project that kid still in a toy or whatever out of that bag. For y'all to project that, that's typical black. That's black. It's black. He did it because he's black. It's black. Y'all sick. And this is an L for you. And this is what Anton defends. He got up here defending this lady. See how you easy to connect them dots, right? What type of black man defends this nonsense?
I can't bring it myself to condemn this. I'm not, like I said, I don't endorse it at all. I don't think you should be calling anyone the N-word. I don't think that calling children slurs is a good idea either.
It's not a good idea. It's just not a good idea, huh? That's how you look at it? You degenerate? Is that really, that's the extent of using a racial slur against a child? You sound like a child abuser yourself. All of you. All of you who look at it, oh, it's just unfashionable. Oh, it's just not a good idea. You're a sick child abuser yourself. No wonder so many of you endanger your kids and don't care. Bringing dogs around them. No wonder so many of you do that and don't care. You don't look at kids as special, as in need of protection, as different. Especially as an adult, as a parent yourself, using racial slurs, any type of name calling against a kid at all. You don't see how degenerate that is. That means you're a degenerate yourself like that.
Think that calling children slurs is a good idea either. And honestly,
look, he can't even get it out. Can't even get his deceptive lie degeneracy out.
I think the current moral lock that one community has on another in the United States is just wrong.
Ain't no moral lock. You ain't explained nothing. You ain't even explained nothing. You can't just toss moral lock out there and expect people to say, oh, you good argument, sir. No, you sound like an idiot and a degenerate.
It's just wrong. The same standard should be applied to both. Like, Carmelo should not have been allowed to raise $500,000 on the back of "we hate white people, death to white people."
What? Carmelo didn't say that. But he just put that on Carmelo because he saw that in the comment section somewhere. That don't work. Take that back. Take it back. That's not going to stick. See, why do you have to resort to these types of tactics? When you have to resort to these types of tactics, because you don't have no real genuine argument. Carmelo never said that. So why'd you put that on him? You're sick.
Raise $500,000 on the back of "we hate white people, death to white people." That should not be permitted. And you should expect some kind of response.
I suspect both of them was just looking for a bag. Shiloh and Carmelo. But it's really not even the point. It's really irrelevant. Get comfortable. Let's move on to the next suspected white supremacist.
Are you really going to miss it?
One, this a little more well known.
Even though I don't.
To you all, to us all, Matt Walsh. Yeah, bring your best white supremacists out here. And I want to hear y'all's take on this. Because I'm telling all of you, this is an L on y'all's part. Any one of you want to come at me, knock yourself out, but I don't think you're that dumb. Y'all know full well you ain't got no argument here. And none of this, y'all acting like this some type of victory. Oh, white guilt is over. Oh, we won. No, this, yeah, protect this lady. Get out of here.
Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say about you.
Wait.
Oh, the child in the word?
Boy's father allegedly witnessed.
Shut up.
Did you call the child in the word? It is my own business. You call him a Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? Okay.
Yeah, F you N-word. In front of these kids at a kid's playground. This is degenerate. You running around calling a kid somewhere a racial slur. This is a nasty, evil, disgusting degenerate. And this is y'all's Rosa Parks? This is the character y'all defending and rallying behind? It's pathetic. Pathetic.
All right, that's what you say.
You don't go digging through people's you dumb
Nobody digging into your
A little kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him a The little child?
What if he acts like one, he's gonna
Are you about to hit him? You chasing?
She said if he acts like one. So just like I said, they are saying that the kid took it because he's black. An autistic kid. He took it because he's black. His blackness makes him a thief. And y'all did, this is y'all's Rosa Parks. Okay. It's crazy that they're the top white supremacists are co-signing this. This degenerate, weak argument of theirs.
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old and the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna ask.
That's what you're
to attack kids. This is what it comes down to. All of you are trying to justify launching an attack on a kid. Don't talk to me about him stealing no toy. You laugh, you take it back, ask them where's your parents? Don't steal, that's wrong. That could get you locked up when you grow up. Y'all don't know how to talk to kids? Is that what it is? That's what it is. You degenerates don't know how to talk to kids. Let's continue.
gonna call him.
Yes, you're sick. No wonder y'all do so many degenerate stuff to kids. This is a case of a sick woman. Y'all defending pure insanity.
Took my son's stuff.
So what, crazy lunatic broad? You don't launch no verbal attack on no kid. Kid at a playground, can't be that old. You degenerate. Hey, give me that back. And that back. Where's your father? Where's your mother? Give me that. Don't steal that. That's mine. That's appropriate, lady. Not what you did, degenerate.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old and the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna ask.
That's what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna ask.
And I totally believe that kid's 5 years old. 5 years old. You sick lunatic. And y'all all sick. Everybody defending this. You're sick.
You know, that's a hate speech.
First of all, we don't actually know for sure that the boy is 5 years old. That's coming from the man filming, who is apparently not related to the child. In the video, we appear to get a glimpse of the kid, and from the glimpse anyway, he definitely looks older than 5. Omar has additionally claimed that the boy is autistic, which we also have no proof of, and we have no footage of the actual encounter between the kid and this woman. Did she scream the N-word in his face? Did she mutter it under her breath? Did she say it about the child after he'd already run away? We don't know. And as far as I've seen, we haven't heard anything from the boy.
Now, you heard the lady admit to saying it herself. She said if he's going to act like it. She obviously said it loud enough for that guy to hear it. That's weak, Matt. You starting off weak.
Boy's parents. We don't know where they were in all of this, if they were even there, which is very strange. So there are many aspects of the story that are bizarre and unconfirmed. And here's another disturbing detail. The Somali man behind the camera, Omar, was charged a couple of years ago with sexually assaulting a minor.
Oh, here we go again. I'm skipping past this. Skipping right on past it. That man's history is not even up for debate, right? That's not even what we're talking about. We're talking about what she did, what she decided to do. His background had nothing to do with that child's actions, and it had nothing to do with her actions. And this is a story about that child and her. Not the background of the cameraman. That's weak and pathetic for y'all to even keep going for that. And that's obviously a part of y'all's shtick here. To also bring up this degenerate's background who tried to get a bag off the back of this.
To help us. She claims that other child took her son's belongings. That's what kicked this off. The guy who recorded the video is familiar with the other child. When he brings his children there, that child and his siblings are often there and play together. The kid she's going after has autism. He doesn't behave.
Okay, so this guy, I'm going to skip that too.
Charged with sexually assaulting a minor. But he says, please, internet, find her, and countless others joined in. And in some cases, they were calling for the woman to be imprisoned for saying a bad word. Watch.
Share. Trying to find the woman who called the little boy the N-word, the 5-year-old little boy, artistic boy. She needs to be found and locked up. So please tap in.
And let me just say, I'm on record here online. I ain't even got to get into it. I have content right now online where I'm highly critical of black mothers calling their sons niggas. I made whole entire live streams where I'm holding their asses up to the fire for doing that. Accountability. So don't wag the finger and say, oh, where are your blacks out? We talk about the degeneracy among our own kind. My problem, when, and where are y'all talking about y'all's?
So please tap in.
Now, there are many other videos of people hoping that she would be found and physically assaulted or killed. Some were even threatening violence against her baby that you can see in the video.
There were not many, because y'all only showed 2 or 3. There are so many, where's this long compilation? That's what we do. That's what black Americans online do. We'll make a 2-hour compilation where we ain't got nothing but videos showing you all these videos you're talking about. But all the videos I've seen from y'all, I only see 1 or 2 of them.
Oh, here's one example.
He said, hey, TikTok, I just got a real quick question. So we all know what happened with Shiloh Hendrix and how she got all this money.
Now, that other guy showed this exact same video. So y'all all using the same videos. Y'all claim that there were so many videos. Okay.
People to beat a baby unconscious is worse than saying a bad word to a child, a lot worse. And yet there's no mob forming against that guy or the dozens of other people who hit like on that video. So this is all unfolded as you would expect up to this point, leading to the predictable news that the Rochester Police Department is now actively investigating the woman, and others began calling for CPS to get involved and remove her child from the home. For example, there's a guy, we'll put it up on the screen, who wrote a letter to CPS, which he published on his website, claiming again that Shiloh's a danger to her own child and that the child should be taken out of the home. And pretty soon, with thousands upon thousands of people whipped into a pitchfork mob, she had been identified by name, but not just her name. Her phone number was posted all over the internet, her address, her social security number, her alleged places of employment.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And y'all need to stop saying that this is what black America did. I know there's several black Americans that say, yeah, nah, they shouldn't have done all that. Social security number? Yeah, I know that there are a bunch of diehard racists out here in the world. It would be unreasonable for me to sit here and say that they should all, as right now, be assassinated or something. Just because they are a racist. But listen, when you attack a child, see, this is what I think a part of this is cultural. Black people, black Americans in general, we take attacks against kids more serious. On average. There are several sick black people who don't. And they are just as careless and endanger their kids too. But culturally, we react different when it comes to kids. When you attack kids, you are the lowest of the low. You're the lowest of the low. And verbal attacks are attacks. In many ways, they're on par with physical attacks, if not worse. So part of this divide is cultural.
Or calling her phone and making death threats and then bragging about it openly. Again, so far this story is following the script that we all know by heart. A random person is caught on camera doing something rude or offensive. The video is...
Again, you describe attacking a child rude or offensive, like a degenerate. Again, that's part of the problem. You don't attack kids. Do you degenerates not understand that? What about that don't you understand? Well, I guess if you don't understand it now, you never will. You don't attack kids. She attacked him as if he was an adult. And even then, you better change your use of words.
Posted by some third party, usually somebody who wasn't even involved in the incident. And then thousands of sociopaths set out to destroy the person's life and possibly get them killed, all for sport, as a form of like sadistic entertainment.
Why don't, rather than complain about the outcome, why don't you complain and examine what started it all? which is her degeneracy, racism, and evil character. Seeing that racism has always been a problem in the United States, when are y'all going to get around to having discussions about it? No, you always just want to complain and talk about how others respond to your racism. That's pathetic. That's pathetic. I'm getting tired of y'all stupid pathetic complaints. Getting really sick of them.
Nobody stops to think about the consequences. There's no consideration of proportionality. Saying the N-word to a child in a moment of anger is bad. Is it so bad that it warrants the total and
You don't have burnout. It's called...
Okay. No. No. But again, I have a bigger problem with people like her out here in the world who sometimes hold important positions who are so racist that they're willing to even attack kids. You see, if she wasn't so degenerate, she wouldn't have people who would want to post her address. See how that goes? Some of you may think that if you steal something, that you don't deserve to die. Some of you may think that. But in many civilizations, if you get caught stealing, you get stoned to death. Right? You get caught doing many things that we wouldn't kill for. They'll stone you to death. But rather than talk about how they respond to it, don't we simply condemn thievery? So when are y'all going to get around to the sick racism that started it all?
Person's life? Is it so bad that they deserve to have their physical safety and the safety of their family put in jeopardy? Is it so bad that they deserve to have their child assaulted? Is it that kind of bad?
Their child assaulted? Nobody's talked about us harming that 18-month-old baby. Don't start that now, Matt. See, you're getting pathetic again. Nobody talked about that.
Social media mob, the answer is always yes. It's always yes, that is, provided that the offending stranger fits certain parameters. And the most important parameter is that the person, the offender, is white. And we all...
That's pathetic.
All know how this script ends. The offender, in a desperate attempt to call off the dogs, tearfully apologizes and begs for mercy, a mercy that they surely will not receive. But that is where the M. Night Shyamalan twist ending comes into play. Because Shiloh Hendricks did not apologize. Instead, she posted a...
So once again, celebrating the fact that she didn't apologize and that she didn't lose her job. That's pathetic. You're celebrating the fact that a degenerate, racist, demonic little devil lady, disgusting human being, you're celebrating the fact that she didn't apologize. That is pathetic.
Crowdfunding campaign on Give, Send, Go, where she doubled down and defended her actions and asked for help to relocate and get her family to safety. And then a double twist. A different group formed to counter the outrage mob. They started donating to her campaign, and she surpassed her original funding goal in less than a day. Within 3 days, she had earned over $500,000. Now she's somewhere north of $600,000. So the woman who was supposed to have her life ruined by the mob is instead on her way to potentially becoming a millionaire. Now, this twist, as you can imagine, has outraged the outrage mob even more, but a large number of prominent people on the right are also horrified by this turn of events. Just as one example, Colin Wright tweeted, "The woke right is now mirroring the woke left's tendency to glorify and martyr immoral degenerates solely based on shared racial identity."
Once again, thank you, Matt. Once again, they compared this degenerate, evil broad right here with the Carmelo incident. And that's what this is all about. Them making these comparisons when they're not the same. The scenarios were not the same. Both may have been a bag grab. Neither of them may have needed to relocate at all. Both of them could have probably been able to relocate without $600,000 and without $1 million. I suspect that both of them could have been just after a bag, but I think that's irrelevant. What's relevant here is that these are not the same. And look how he said we won. You won because she didn't apologize? That's pathetic. You won because she didn't lose her job? That's pathetic. But okay. Whoop-de-doo. Good for you.
Identity. This woke one-upmanship is a race to the very bottom. Many conservative influencers and commentators, many of them who I like and respect, have echoed this sentiment. They say that, the people donating to this woman are behaving no better than the left. They say that this is the right's version of the Carmelo Anthony fundraiser that also raised $500,000.
Yeah, that's enough, Matt. You ain't talking about nothing. Let's move on to the next. Yeah, I want to hear from everybody. Bring me all your best talkers, all your best podcasters. I don't think this is one of the more popular ones, but listen.
A social order. I think what we're seeing now is a backlash to this white guilt, a social order, where for the longest time celebrities, black celebrities could make fun of white people. White people were supposed to just laugh. You couldn't.
Wow, what? Black celebrities would make fun of white people? Huh?
Make fun of white people. White people were, for the longest time, celebrities, black celebrities could make fun of white people. White people were supposed to just laugh. You couldn't say anything back. Young guys don't understand why that is, why they have to be made fun of, insulted when they can't get jobs, when they can't get universities, or they can't get into university.
Oh, stop. Is that really a problem in white America? Not being able to get jobs or get into universities? That's not a real problem. Don't tell me that's a real problem. And black men are underrepresented in colleges and universities. Black women have the highest dropout rates. So who else filling them? What are you saying? Colleges are overrun by black people? Stop that. Stop it. Okay, this is pathetic. And here he's talking about comedians again. I heard them talk about that too. Hey, black comedians make fun of white people. We don't have no control over comedians. And if that's the case, why don't you white comedians make the same type of jokes about blacks? Yeah, knock yourself out. But that's weak too. Comedians, y'all being oppressed because there's comedians out here making white jokes. Talk about sensitive. You're always calling us sensitive. Look at you.
When they can't get universities, or they can't get into university, they're struggling to make ends meet while being told they're oppressors. So finally...
What? That's y'all's oppression? Is that the white oppression complaint y'all talking about? Y'all can't get jobs, can't get in universities, and there's some black person sticking his head inside your window calling you an oppressor? Get out of here. Get out of here, boy. Y'all setting a whole new standard for being sensitive and petty and just pathetic.
Oppressors. So finally, something like this happens and the dam breaks. And this is what, I was talking to Carl Benjamin earlier. We had all warned about this 10 years ago, that if you promote racial identitarianism like the left had been doing, it's only a matter of time before white people find the exact same path. And they say, then if you're going to insult us, attack us, fire us from our jobs, deny us access to universities, then we will form a collective, and there's more of us and you'll regret it. And it seems like that's where we are.
The pendulum swinging from the summer of love to now end bombs at the playground. People have had enough.
Yeah, I mean, huh? He said end bombs at the playground. People have had enough. Huh? Why are y'all talking about this lady as, oh, she represents white people who've had enough? How? How? What did she do that was so great? Oh, she didn't apologize for using a racial slur against a child. That's what y'all proud of? You're degenerates. You just revealed that you're a degenerate, basically. Because that's sick, if you ask me. You look at that as a win, that's sick.
People have had enough.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think that it needs to, it goes without saying that it's not a good idea to call kids names.
Don't call kids.
Once again, he described it as, oh, it's just not a good idea. No, that's sick. You're an abuser when you're doing that. But it's interesting to see how many of them don't look at it, oh, it's just not a good idea. They minimize it as much as possible.
Slurs,
That's not a good idea.
It's a bad.
What's his name? Has anyone asked if that's the kid's name?
I mean, maybe, but
It's like a name tag.
I don't think so. But yeah, look, I mean, the fact of the matter is, just like Tim said, and like Carl said, and like Jordan Peterson has said, and like I've said, you can't play the racial identity game and expect the people that you're attacking with that weapon to not engage in the game. And people,
what? What is this racial identity game they're talking about? What are they even talking about? And how in the world is this a response to this scenario? What are you talking about, Brad? Make sense, Brad. Can you please be coherent? This ain't working. This ain't it.
The fact of the matter is, just like Tim said, and like Carl said, and like Jordan Peterson has said, and like I've said, you can't play the racial identity game and expect the people that you're attacking with that weapon to not engage in the game. And Peterson actually made it, was really clear about it. He was like, look, you're going to attack young white men, and those young white men are going to say, I don't want to, not only am I willing to play your game, because I don't have the guilt that, say, Gen X or boomers have, but not only am I willing to play your game, but I'm going to play it to win. Yeah. And so it's not like the young people are going to be worried about if you call them names, you call them racist or whatever. They don't care. And that's something that is absolutely true. Right now, if you're at home listening to this and you're unaware, young people do not care if you call them racist. They will not.
They will continue to be racist. Is that what you're saying? Is that what y'all proud of? That's what y'all celebrating? Being a racist and not caring that people point it out and call you a racist? That's what you, okay, whoop-de-doo. Good for you. That's stupid, though. And it's degenerate and just shows more how much of a degenerate you are. Thanks for popping out and confirming how much of a degenerate you are. That don't even make no sense. Oh, we're finally proud of being racist.
It will not faze them at all. And this is not something that, we should be happy about, but it is the reality that we have to look forward in the next.
The word means nothing anymore.
Yeah.
Racist, sexist, these words have been so overused.
Well, you know what will mean something? Knuckles to your mouth. You want to go out and just, it's time to be an open racist. I'm going to open your face up. If that's y'all new idea, that's what y'all want to talk about, and we can do whatever. We could take it back to the Wild Wild West. We could take it to the UFC. If y'all's new celebration and plan is to be an open racist, unapologetically, I'ma unapologetically stuff your face with knuckles. So go and knock yourself out. I hope you're in good shape.
5, 10, 15 years that just doesn't mean a thing.
I agree with you, but I think that even if they understand what it's supposed to mean, they don't care anymore.
Right, yeah.
Look, some have said this is a response to the Carmelo Anthony.
It's deeper than that.
Story.
Yeah. Look. A few points. First of all, we need to transition. We need to transition from a low impulse society to a stoic and sane society that we used to be. Number two, these are words, okay? And at the end of the day, we have the First Amendment, okay? And then in terms of fundraising, you're free to fundraise for whatever you want to fundraise for. I mean, this isn't Canada. I mean, Mark Carney just came out and said...
The hell? It's so inhumane. So inhumane. Freedom of speech. People can say what they want. You don't have to apologize. The issue here is a woman's willingness to launch a racial attack against a kid, a 5-year-old. That is sick. There's no defending that. I don't get where y'all coming from. This is not a win for y'all. And this is not this woman used it multiple times. It's obvious she is a white supremacist. There's no way she couldn't be a white supremacist talking the way she is. And that's why y'all supporting her. Y'all supporting the fact that she made clear that she was a white supremacist and showed no remorse about it. Y'all love that. That's what this all is all about. You're a bunch of sick, demonic, racist, white supremacists for that. This woman don't deserve defense at all. But y'all defending her. Y'all bending over backwards and y'all saying that what she did is the green light now and has changed the future. You're sick.
Said that. Did you hear what he said about free speech and stuff? That it was a crime. So, I mean, so long as it was a word, there was no crime.
Well, you remember, words are violence.
Yes, of course, right? Yeah, we hear
Yeah,
all
don't
that.
give me that. As long as it's words, there is no crime. So what? Y'all think, oh, we can just go around and say whatever we want to black people and their kids. Go ahead and kick it off then. Set it off. Y'all talking real strong. Let's see some action. Stop talking. Go and get to talking. You think you can just, they're just words. It's just going to be a punch too. It's just going to be an uppercut and a right hook too.
That too. But at the end of the day, I mean, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Before Black Lives Matter, race relations were pretty stable, but the BLM movement...
No, they were not. No, they were not.
Movement just ripped
And
it.
once again, they bring up Black Lives Matter. That's pathetic. You got to bring up an organization that really has nothing to do with us. And it is really anti-Black American. Black Lives Matter is anti-Black American. They are dead set against black families. It's an LGBT organization started and funded by white people and Caribbeans.
An absolute hole in things and exposed all of the many failings that have added up ever since the failure of LBJ's Great Society. If white people are angry, I mean, ask yourselves why. The marginalisation created by BLM is one, affirmative action in all its forms is another, and the entitlement...
Affirmative action? These are weak, pathetic arguments, man.
Culture that LBJ created is yet another.
I mean, the race war has been like a government dream for a long time. If you've read Chaos, the book Chaos,
Yes.
about Helter Skelter being like a made-up idea from the prosecutor and Bugliosi, not really a Charles Manson thing. Like they kind of obsess over this idea of pitting the races against each other.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast.
Well, you don't need an outside entity to have dust-ups. Look at this situation. All you need is a bunch of degenerates in society. Now, a big complaint that I've heard is how violent we are. Black Americans are so violent. And I've mentioned on another video, and I shared these two charts, that when it comes to number of victims, murder victims, most of them are black. Most murder victims are black. So if anybody should be complaining about being victims, it, as far as murder, should be black people. And who do you think the people are responsible for these deaths? number of murder offenders in the United States by race. Most offenders are white. But let's say that most of the murder victims, black murder victims, let's say almost all of them were taken out by other black people. Right? Number of murder offenders, let's say all of these murder offenders, 6,405 of them, were responsible for what? 9,284? That doesn't even work, do it? Well, let's say these killers took out multiple black people. You know, we got a problem. Who took out the rest of these black people? Who took out the rest of these black people if it wasn't these black murderers? 6,400 black murderers, but 9,284 black deaths. Who took them out? You think maybe some of these white murderers up here? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe? Well, it looks like there are more white murderers. I mean, are we complaining? They're hanging their hat on crime. You know, black Americans committing so much crime. But I don't believe y'all really dealing with a bunch of crime from black Americans like that. I really don't. The majority of white people in this country don't deal with crime from black Americans. It's usually black Americans dealing with crime from black Americans. I got family that was taken out by other black Americans, but not by white people. I've encouraged people several times to do this. Find as many sources as you can. This is a list from 2022. Cities around the world with the highest rates of homicide, highest homicide rates. Homicide is like the worst type of crime you could possibly commit. If an area has a high homicide rate, you can believe there is a high number of disputes, conflict, fights, robberies, stuff like that, because they're usually related to the homicides. And as you can see, even though these cities are the same size or even smaller than the major cities in the United States, these cities are not in America. So black Americans are not the most violent people in the world. The most violent people in the world are in Mexico, in Southern America, Latin America. It's the most violent area in the world. Okay? Where is all the complaints about them? We don't even look at them as violent. Instead, they want to attach violence to black people, black Americans in particular. You got one American city down here, New Orleans. But look at this. We're even being outdone by Brazilians. But yet, nobody mentions them along with violence. South Africa. You have many people from these countries calling up, trying to lecture black Americans on how violent we are. They'll call up from Mexico, South America, Brazil, South Africa, Haiti. Look at this. Haiti, Jamaica. Call up, hey, why are you black Americans so violent? Yet y'all outdoing us. Oh, this is a must. This is a must. And ain't nothing changed. United States, United States, United States. Black Americans. Let's put it like this. Mexicans are the most violent people in the world. That's just the facts. Their cities have the highest homicide rates in the world. That's the fact. Black Americans have some of the lowest. And actually, we even being outdone by Brazil, because I'm seeing more Brazil, right? More Brazil than United States. So what's the deal here? Why all the propaganda? Why does complaints against Black Americans, why does it always have to involve so many lies and propaganda? Why? Why can't we ever just be straight up and down? This is wow. This is from 2015. Once again, you don't even see one city from the United States up here. So, yeah. We've been here for a while. What is this? Almost 3 hours. This is my longest live stream ever. And it felt good. It sound like race war talk? Yeah, it's a race war. Seems like race war. I had to chime in on this current race war because I have a wide range of listeners. I have white people who listen to me, people all around the world. So race relations is something we all got to deal with, no matter what type of content creator you are, you know. And I just had to give my thoughts and let people know where I stand. The current thing is that white guilt is over, and whites, we're tired, we're sick and tired of black people, and it doesn't make sense to me. Had your boy Anton chime in, support these people. And now I found out that he has put his support behind a nothing burger, a non-argument, a bunch of propaganda, a bunch of lies, a bunch of white supremacist BS and propaganda. We as Black Americans have a lot of problems. And yes, sometimes Black Americans will assume that a white person is racist when they don't have the grounds or the justification to make those accusations. Stuff like this happens. Okay, nobody's perfect. Blacks, we have our good people and we got our dysfunctional people. The problem is our enemies refuse to acknowledge our civilized, population. They always try to project the entirety of our population as one way or another. And don't get me wrong, that's not what I'm doing. I'm directing my content towards all of the white people who co-sign with the points made by the creators shown in this stream. And as you can see, none of them made, at least not to me, none of them made a strong argument. These were weak arguments, man. Each and every one of them. Through and through. They have not established, they have not justified this woman's actions at all. They have not made, in my opinion, have not made an argument that, hey, we're fed up. What do you mean you fed up with black people? I mean, I'm seriously wondering what their complaint is, because I don't see a legitimate complaint about anything. This to me just sounds like a bunch of racist white people who don't want to be racist behind closed doors anymore. So anytime anything happens, they bend over backwards to try to justify being an open racist.
Countless millions of Americans are experiencing what's called black fatigue, which the Urban Dictionary defines as the deep mental exhaustion from being forced to care about black people and their actions 24/7. More specifically, the crimes of black people, those kinds of actions, which everybody knows they're only 13% of the population, but commit over 50% of the violent crimes in this country. We're not supposed to say that out loud because that's considered to be a numeric hate code. That's hate speech because facts are hateful. The rapid increase in black fatigue stems from the tragedy of Austin Metcalf, the 17-year-old high school student who was killed at a track meet by this creature because they got into a slight disagreement about where this individual was supposed to be in the wrong place, and so he did what thugs do and acted like an animal. White Lives Matter was trending on Twitter, on X, earlier this week, which, of course, the Jewish ADL defines as a white supremacist phrase because people are finally getting tired of the black crime problem in America. The Thugs family held a bizarre press conference yesterday with their new spokesman, this clown, who, of course, speaks Ebonics, and Austin Metcalf's father showed up to the press conference not to cause problems, not to heckle the family for raising such a degenerate son, but probably to show support and sympathy. I'll show you a clip from him in just a moment. We have to have tremendous...
Let's say Carmelo was a knucklehead looking for trouble. Guess what? That Austin Metcalf was a troublemaker as well. Y'all all know it. He was a hothead as well. But y'all never point that out. He definitely shouldn't have put his hands on him. And I'm just speaking hypothetically here. Let's say Carmelo was looking for trouble and being a knucklehead. Guess what? Metcalf had to be a hot-headed knucklehead because he was drawn out to him. He went over there and put his hands on Carmelo.
Sympathy for him and for their family, but he really doesn't understand what it is that's going on here. Here he is just before the press conference kicked off, being told he has to leave by the police under the direction of the Thugs family. The press conference hasn't even started. This guy's just doing a microphone check, but he was told by them that he has to leave. Afterwards, this is what the...
And he's committed to referring to Carmelo as a thug. But Metcalf, he wasn't a thug. Yeah, he sounded like he was a thug too.
Perpetrator's family's spokesman had to say about the victim's family.
And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family, but he did it.
Oh, he wasn't invited? Okay.
And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words.
Oh, it speaks to his character, all right, because he probably wanted to give them a hug and forgive them, because this is, and I say this with all due respect and all due sympathy, this was his ridiculous statement shortly after the tragic event.
It's very unfortunate that this other child decided to make a bad choice that's going to affect him for the rest of his life. I have compassion for every human being.
Hey, Metcalf also made a bad decision. You point that out too? Anybody talk about that across the street? He made a bad decision too. Shouldn't put your hands on that man. You shouldn't have touched him. Why you put your hands on him? That was a mistake. Don't do it again. That's not something you should encourage. But yet, that's what y'all out here encouraging by not pointing it out. Y'all acting like it's okay to do that. No, it's not.
This is not, I want to make this very clear. This is not a race issue. This is not a black and white issue. I don't want someone stepping up on a soapbox trying to politicize this. I don't appreciate some of the remarks I've seen online.
Oh, it was a race thing, sir. If black communities and mainstream black culture in America wasn't synonymous with thug culture, where they celebrate and glorify pimps, drug dealers, and killers, then your son would still be alive.
What? Now you heard that. You heard that.
Supporters for the killer have raised nearly $500,000 on his GoFundMe page, and a lot of the comments on the page from the people who are donating are absolutely despicable. They see him as the new O.J. Simpson. They know what he did, but they want him to get off because of their deep-seated hatred and spitefulness towards white people. Like this person who posted that when they were Carmelo's age, they would have had to get up and not say a word. God bless this young...
So is this really the complaint? You're complaining about comments like this? That's pathetic. This ain't no win. It's pathetic.
Man, if you missed it, this fight stemmed from Carmelo being in the wrong tents, and then he was told that he needs to leave. And so a lot of people are equating him with Rosa Parks now. Here are some more words of wisdom from the family spokesman.
Next time you see this plant in your backyard, don't cut it down, because this is
like the king of white supremacists.
Nobody in the public media has one video camera, but we got the video of Kyle Rittenhouse with an AK-47 shooting 3 people in the back.
Actually, the videos show that he shot them face to face as they were attacking him because his life was obviously in danger. Someone's life isn't in danger when you're at a track meet and someone tells you you're in the wrong tent and maybe even gives you a little shove on the shoulder to kind of encourage you to get out of the way. Of course, every white person in America...
Is that what Metcalf did? I didn't hear that. Is that all he did? Shove him on the shoulder? Is that all he did? I mean, why lie? If y'all got a legit argument, why lie about it? Shove on the shoulder. Now again, I know many people say, oh, well, he didn't have to stab him. Okay, what else was he supposed to do? Well, he could have knuckled up and fought like a man. Yeah, 140-pound man fighting a guy who's 220 pounds. Maybe he could have exercised other options. Maybe he should have ran. But that don't take from the fact that this guy shouldn't have... You don't go around putting your hands on people. Things like this can happen. You just can't do that. And I'm surprised that there's no video of what happened.
Of course, every white person in America who doesn't have the little pathogen and black people who have assimilated know this, except for Tim Pool, whose beanie must be restricting the blood flow to his brain.
For one where he says, what is it? Nothing matters but this. He was at a school event at the wrong team.
So he's reading someone else's comment and then he'll give his take on it.
This tent with a knife. He clearly chose murder than to walk away cut and dry here. Nope, wrong. Imagine you are invited to a party at someone else's house and you are legally carrying a firearm. And then
that person says, hey, get out of the way, and gently shoves you on the shoulder. You're not allowed to then pull out the gun and shoot them, Tim. This case may actually be a tipping point because a lot of people are expressing their black fatigue. And for the last couple years now, people are finally starting to get over the fear of being called a racist by pointing out the systemic anti-whiteism. And up until recently...
Y'all have a fear of being called a racist? And who's forcing you to care about black people and our actions? That's not what I'm doing. That's not what are you talking about? And don't bring up Black Lives Matter. What are you talking about? These are stupid, little petty, whiny, little naggy, pathetic complaints, man.
By pointing out the systemic anti-whiteism, and up until recently, really the only way that people could address their black fatigue was through comedy, like this classic South Park skit. This is Randy Marsh on Wheel of Fortune.
An N and a G.
And the vowel?
An O, please.
Okay, well, looks like you're gonna get a lot of help here. Category is people who annoy you. Audience, keep quiet, please. 10 seconds, Mr. Marsh.
Well, I know it, but I don't think I should say it.
5 seconds, Mr. Marsh.
All right, I'd like to solve the puzzle. Nick!
Now, I bleeped that, but when they actually did air it on Comedy Central, they did not bleep that, surprisingly.
Huh?
Oh, whoops. Chris Rock had black fatigue 30 years ago and expressed it this way.
It's black people, there's and have got to go. Every time black people want to have a good time, if they ask it up.
He later retired that bit because he felt that it was causing too much racism against black people. Another sad thing to think about is if Austin Metcalf's family had just listened to Scott Adams, the creator of the Dilbert comic series, then this would never have happened.
So if nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group. That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are going.
White people feel hated? Y'all feel hated by black people? Is that what this is all about? I've been hearing this come up over and over and over and over. Black people hate us. Black people hate us. They hate us so much. And I honestly don't know where y'all getting this from. comments online? Is that what y'all talking about? What are you talking about? Because there's nothing being done to you. But you're constantly going on about, oh, black people hate us, black people hate us. And I don't even know why he showed these. Are you saying that you agree with Chris Rock? Is that what you're saying? And if so, I don't know. This guy is all over the place. These are just dumb complaints, man. Dumb complaints. Chris Rock and his little skit talking about, are you saying that some black people are civilized and some are niggers, huh? Okay, well, the white people who are uncivilized are white niggers, huh? They're all over the place, man.
Was causing too much racism.
Y'all remember this guy.
Nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people.
I remember. I have a video on this, and that's not what that poll said. This guy is lying. That poll did not say these people are that blacks were tired of white people. Something stupid. Always crying the blues, blowing stuff out of proportion, being the exact same racial sensitive people y'all always accuse us of being. Y'all always trying to accuse us of being sensitive, and when that's really y'all doing that. And that's all this is. A bunch of whine. Hill. I read a comment today. A black person said, shut up. Grow some balls.
This poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group. That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are going, the best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the away. Wherever you have to go, just get away.
I agree. And they're doing a good job of it already. There's several all-white suburbs. I mean, but they're pretty much all white. Yeah, if you don't like white people, black people, don't go around them. Don't go around them. Don't live around them. Don't associate with them at all. Avoid them as much as possible. Put it like that. Get as much as you can offline. If you need something from a store, have somebody else go get it for you. Or have it delivered or something. Yeah, avoid them. That's actually good, sound advice.
Because there's no fixing this.
And speaking of black crime, New York Attorney General Letitia James, who indicted President Trump on some of those trumped-up charges, no pun intended, may herself be indicted for committing mortgage fraud, lying on loan applications, claiming that one of her properties was owner-occupied in order to get a lower interest rate, because when people buy rental properties...
Crime? What? So we're back to black crime is such a problem. Now listen, I don't like crime, whatever form it's in. Thieves, if it affects me in some way, yeah, I don't want no parts. I don't want to live, but I don't deal with crime is not a problem for me. What kind of area are you living in? That's a better question. What kind of area, what kind of neighborhood do you live in? Are you having a hard time going downtown because of crime? Are you having a hard time doing anything in your life because of crime? For all those who beat the drum about crime, tell me, how is crime affecting you? I don't get it. There's crime in every single city, but I ain't dealing with it. Why are you so bogged down by it? I believe these people are just looking at statistics and looking for something to complain about. That's all you're doing. It's pathetic. You're looking for ways to justify your just natural... You just hate black people. This is what this boils down to. You hate black people. So you look for reasons to justify it. Oh, look, he did this. They did that. This black person did this. Like this little article he pulled up here. You just trying to avoid just coming out and say it. Just like the title. Everyone is tired of them. This is just nothing but you being a deranged, racist, demonic little devil. And you're tired of keeping it inside and behind closed doors. That is what this is all about. And you're being clumsy with how you're trying to bring it out into the open. With these little cases and scenarios that's going on. Oh, this is the one. Now we can be open race. That's what it sounds like to me. This sounds goofy.
They're not owner occupied.
Why are you even sharing this story here, dude?
Risk, so they get a higher interest rate. And so it looks like she herself basically committed the same crimes that she accused President Trump of committing, as always. And if you like white people and tank tops, you can order your I Love White People tank top from my online store, markdice.com, or any of my awesome designs, now all available.
So he got him some shirts. I love white people. Okay. I don't see nothing wrong with these shirts. No complaint here.
Tank tops, just head on over to the main store and then click the Tanks tab up in the upper right-hand corner. As you can see, you can get your America First, Trump Fight, Make Me a Sandwich shirt, your Trumpomania, my favorite, Operation Mockingbird, Ultra MAGA, or any of my awesome designs.
Trump? What do you got here? Ultra MAGA? I love white people, gray? Warning, containing facts and opinions that may be offensive. Let's check out his shirts. Ultra MAGA, Trump supporter. Wait a minute.
Just head on over to the main store and then click the Tanks tab up in the upper right-hand corner. As you can see,
Cat Lives Matter. Yeah, no problem with that. And actually, I don't have a problem with White Lives Matter. Knock yourself out. But it's just not it's not a response to Black Lives Matter. It can't be used as a response to Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter. It just
you can
can't.
get your America
I explained it already.
First, Trump Fight, Make Me a Sandwich shirt, your Trumpomania, my favorite, Operation Mockingbird, Ultra MAGA, or any of my awesome designs, all available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and now tank tops. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below. And
Cops Lives Matter.
Check them out.
I love white people. I love white people too, man. You ain't alone there. I don't love white supremacists. I don't love racist white people. I don't love sick. Those white people are my enemies. And I will never defend them. Okay? And I got various ways to detect if you are a racist, little white supremacist degenerate. You understand? And I make the distinction also. There are some whites who are degenerate, racist, and others who are not. Who are actually cool. Who are actually harmless. Who are actually good people. Y'all just got to chill out. Y'all need to just chill out, man. Y'all's arguments, the arguments that y'all try to make are weak and pathetic. They're poorly put together. They're not well thought out at all. They're just not strong arguments. The idea of rallying behind this lady, a degenerate, who had basically a racism tantrum, that ain't it. That ain't it at all. And I will land my plane there. The longest live stream ever. I will see y'all on the next.